cock-a-doodle-doo, motherfucker.
Oh, Merry Christmas to all of y'all. Hello. Oh, shit. I need to put my goddamn tracking on. Ah! Cock-a-doodle-doo. I don't have my goddamn stuff ready. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is GirafaStev. Ow! My name's Giraffe. Dude, why is it so small? I'm the president of the Long Boy Club. I'm GirafaStev, the long and large enjoyer of gaming, wrestling, your soul, which sucks, by the way, and my stinky cats. Tonight, it is Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to everyone. I have a bit of a minimal setup here. I just kind of have my hat. But I do have Henry, you know, sleeping next to the heater as well. He's all cozied up for tonight. He's all cozied up and all cute. Cute as can be. Speaking of cute, I have something that I must show all of you. It is, it is a new video in the Hell Monster rotation. It is the most absurd thing I've ever seen Henry do. Because Henry's been getting up on my desk lately, right? And he's been, like, messing around with shit as I'm working, right? Including the mouse cursor. Dude was literally up here trying to eat my mouse cursor. It's insane. This might be the cutest thing I've ever seen a cat do. And also, in this video, also, like, really puts into perspective just how fat he's gotten. Yeah, that's right, Henry, I'm calling you out. I see you down there. Don't pretend that just because you're sitting in front of the heater doesn't mean I can't feel your presence. You're right there, fat, but your brother's fatter. Oliver is fatter than Henry at this stage in the game, I feel like. But they're both pretty chunky. They're both pretty chunky and they're very lovable. And they're very, very cute and soft and cuddly and squeezy. So yeah.
Did you feed him those cookies you bought, you son of a bitch?
Funny you say that, homunculus. Because I actually got a call back from the cookie place that we got cookies from a couple days ago. As some of you may remember, earlier this week, actually no, last weekend, we actually bought some cookies from a little store called, hold on, let me pull it up here real fast. Give me just a second. I would never feed them the cookies, homunculus. You know that, even with that, you know that I would never, ever, ever, ever give them your precious, coveted Cheetos cookie. Speaking of, yes, I did in fact buy a box. I have a receipt, too. I'll go and pull it up real fast. Hold on. I have a receipt, too. So that way you guys know that I'm just not bullshitting you. Give me just 1 second, and I will get it to you. Give me just a second. But first, I'll pull up the, cookies here. So that all of you can be tempted to buy from this place in Santa Monica. The Goldbelly family. What's that?
Don't bullshit me, Gyra. Yeah, don't bullshit him, Gyra.
Gyra? Well, listen, if you're gonna do that, the very least you could do... yeah, don't bullshit him, Gyra. I don't know why, but you fucking saying that makes me think of, like, the Moona Knights from Aqua Team. Because that feels like something that they would fucking do. Or like, that feels like Moon and Knight's, like, writing and dialogue. Fuck. Okay, right. I need to show you guys the evidence. So that way you know what's coming. I was referencing GTA San Andreas, but it absolutely would fit them. Yes! See? I told you. Hold on. The Moon Knights. Here, we're gonna look at them here.
Hello, Mario.
Like the first sentence would be like, Ignignockt. And the second one would be goddamn you know? Like, that's literally like Aqua Teen writing right there, what you just did, Tom Street. I didn't know that that was GTA San Andreas, but that's literally like Moon and Knight's writing. Anyways, hold on. Let me pull up the fucking receipt here. There you go. Actually, this is just an order confirmation, but it's coming. And would you like to know how much it costs, chat? Also, hi, Zach. Would you like to know how much a dozen of these cookies from Santa Monica cost me? Hint, the shipping costs more than the actual cookies themselves. So yeah, keep that in mind. Didn't you say the price last stream? Yes, a lot of money is right. A lot of money is absolutely right. Around $65 of it, to be exact. $65 to order a dozen of these cookies. Remember the number 70.
Hello, Mario.
Hi there, Zach 2. Zach Jr. Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. It was like $65 or $70 for to like get like a dozen of these shipped over here. But listen, we have so much to choose from. Oh wait, hold on. They actually updated it. They actually updated the storefront. It no longer has like the Christmas ones on here, unfortunately, but it does have a lot of gimmicky ones, of which I ordered plenty. Is most of that $65? It's like half and half, with like shipping being a little more, right? Shipping was a little more than the actual cookies. But, you know, they called me and they were like, hey, we'd be more than happy to send you over a dozen of these, but we want you to pick your selection again. Because our Christmas stuff is not going to be, you know, in the rotation by the time that we're like reopened again. So yeah, if you still want cookies, you're going to need to choose a different lineup. And when I heard that, I was so scared, right? I was terrified that the cookies being baked would not include the Cheetos.
Cot, if you could give any fictional character their own cooking show where contestants compete to beat them, who would you choose?
Kane. Kane. I mean, listen. He fucking has history with cooking. Just look at WWE Crush Hour. He had his own, like, barbecue cooking show on that. You know? He had, like, his own barbecue cooking show. Hellfire cookies. Inferno buttfuck cookies. Where you're in an Inferno match with the goddamn Sexayete and you're getting the Visagra in your asshole. But no, like, in WWE Crush Hour, Kane had his own, like, barbecue cooking show and he got tilted so fucking easy. Like he made his steak well done, and then he just set the entire grill on fire, I believe. Like, I feel like a cooking show with Kane would just go completely off the rails. It would be everything that, like, people are afraid that Gordon Ramsay will do, but Kane just does it, you know? If your cookie is fucking raw, no, if your meat is fucking raw, you will not be raw here in a few minutes. I'll tell you that, buddy. You're gonna go to hell and you're gonna die. But no, I was scared that the Cheetos cookie was not going to be in the rotation anymore. Well,
Hello, Mario.
he can be as raw as a Monday night? Yeah, he's allowed to be raw, but he expects everyone else to be cooked. Including your penis. I choose Ignis from Final Fantasy 15. Dude, Ignis comes up with new recipes just by watching paint dry, you know? You're not gonna beat him. You'll never beat him. By the time you've already, like, finished the recipe, he's already come up with, like,
the fire
5
inside the grill burns brighter than the fire around it.
And because of that, the grill was kept alive. The fire birds. Always. But yeah, I was afraid that the Cheetos would be taken out of rotation. Thankfully, they were not. I talked to them over the phone, and when they were telling me all this, I was like sweating buckets, right? I was like sweating buckets because I was afraid that they would say that the Cheetos were not in there anymore. So I asked them, hey, does the current lineup have Cheetos in them? And when they said yes, I let out like an audible, heck yeah. I made sure not to curse because I was in Walmart. But when I like explained like actual like verbal excitement over the Cheetos cookies, they kind of laughed at that. So, with a giraffe of your stature, it must have been pouring for anyone standing under you. Yeah, everyone gets a shower whenever I sweat, you know? Whether they want to or not. But no, I got a new lineup of cookies here. I got 2 chocolate chips, because when you're having cookies, right? The chocolate chip cookie, in my opinion, is where everything lives and dies, right? This right here is like the litmus test for everything else. If you cannot get the chocolate chip cookie right, nothing else is going to be right, you know? I have no stature, or rather, like, I have no, like, bar, right? So, like, if the chocolate chip cookie is not good, everything falls apart. So before we even had the Cheetos cookie, I'm gonna be trying the chocolate chip. Yeah, like, you always need a control. I got 2 Cheetos cookies, but along with that, I also got banana pudding, blueberry muffin. Actually, no, hold on. Let me pull up my email correspondence with them. I might be able to get, you know, like a list here of what I ordered. I sent them to my actual email. Give me just a second. Bro, what the fuck? Cookie good. Right there. Alright, cool. So, my order looks like this, right? 2 chocolate chips, 2 Cheetos, 1 chocolate chip brownie chunk, 1 pancakes and bacon, 1 red velvet cake, 1 Frosted Flakes, 1 S'mores, 1 Caramel Pretzel Chocolate Chunk, 1 Banana Pudding, and 1 Blueberry Muffin. So we have a wide selection here when they come in, right? And honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I am super duper looking forward to it. Not only just for the Cheetos, but also, you know, just to try everything that we have here. And I know that Zach said that, you know, like these, they better be the best cookies ever for that price. But you also need to remember that, like, I'm paying for shipping on that as well, right? And I don't know how much control they have over that. So, really, it would be $33 if I lived in Santa Monica.
What is
However,
the
I do
topic
not.
of tonight's meeting?
What is the topic of tonight's meeting? Well, brother, it's been the topic of the past it's been the topic of the past 2 meetings. It's AEW, but now it's Jolly. And don't worry, we actually will be doing AEW Fight Forever tonight. Because the first time we accidentally went off script. The second time I did it on purpose. But this time, we're actually gonna fucking do it. It is time for us to finish the story. It's time for the boyhood dream to come true. And to actually play this godforsaken game for Christmas. Who says that Christmas miracles can't come true,
Santa
chat?
Claus is all elite. Jack Frost is all elite. The Easter Bunny is all elite.
Rhapsody Street Kids are all elite, brother. The great grandma from Rhapsody Street Kids is, of course, all elite. Great grandma, you always know just what to say. Completely just laughs her fucking ass off with Christmas. Hold on. There's a bit, because, like, we fucking watch Rhapsody Street Kids in the server for Christmas, right? And there is a moment where the Rhapsody Street Kids grandma, Jesus, there's a moment. Stop, that's too loud. That's way too loud. There's a moment where the Rhapsody Street Kids grandmother gains, like, a moment of sentience, and then it just goes back to nonsense. You could not write a better fucking joke than this. Because, for context, the grandmother in Rhapsody Street
Mario.
Kids, I still can't get over that this was aired on national television. Brother, it was aired on the WB, I believe. Also, hi Pash, welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. The context behind the grandmother, right, is that when her dialogue was recorded, it was actually corrupted, right? So, like, the majority of the lines she has in this movie, which there aren't a lot of lines to be fair, but really the majority of them, all but one, are completely corrupted, and they didn't re-record her. They did not re-record her. They did not bring the VA back in. They didn't get a new VA. They just took what they had and they were like, fuck it. And then they just put it in the movie, you know? The Long Boy Club is all elite. Brother, we've always been the elite. The elite. Right over here, brother. Much like the Rhapsody Street Kids. But yeah. In this moment here is the only moment where she gains sentience, and then she just goes right back to nonsense. Please, I beg of you to drink this in.
Do you know what, Nicole? I never stopped believing in Santa. And you don't have to stop either.
I won't. That makes 2 of us.
Great Grandma, you always know just what to say.
Christmas.
You cannot write better fucking comedy than that. Because literally all of her other dialogue is completely garbled except for that one line where she's like, I never stopped believing in Santa, and you don't have to stop either. And then she just becomes completely incoherent again. You know? For a moment, the lights turned on. You know? For a moment, the lights turned on, the fucking dementia just went to the side, and she was able to communicate. And then she went right back down again. And then she had a laughing fit, and she was like, Christmas! and it's just complete, it's seen more stroke than dementia. Well, listen. Old person thing, all right? She fell back into her, like, old personitis. But for 1 second, she was with everyone else. And it was the happiest moment of everyone's lives. But then she got her old personitis back. And now she's back to this.
Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hello, Mario.
She got that old personitis. Shut that door! Here, hold on.
Christmas to all.
Shut that door.
Great, thank you.
Christmas to all.
Shut that door! I'm surprised, dude. I didn't even know that was like a thing that like people quoted from this. I literally thought that it was mostly just like the grandma having a stroke.
Christmas!
Yeah, we watched this in the server the other night, along with a few other holiday specials, including the Sonic the Hedgehog, or rather the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Christmas special. We also watched the Season 1 Smiling Friends special. Zach had a recommended one that was from the, you know, the 90s Batman series. And this was mine. This right here was mine. And I'm glad that we get the Saturday morning adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog featuring Overbite Lad and Robotnik Claus. Who honestly, I feel like everyone was like judging too harshly. You know? If anything, dude, from working retail, I know that the majority of the goddamn like most of the goddamn gifts are going straight back to the retailer.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
The vast majority of them are going straight back to the retailer. Mark my words. When I go back into work, there's going to be so many, like, items that were meant to be gifts that I'm just going to need to put back on the shelf. You know? So if anything, Robotnik was doing me a favor because he wants all that stuff, you know? Unquestionably, no matter what it is, he wants it. He's not spoiled and ungrateful, you know? He's not spoiled, he's not ungrateful. Which is why I, as a retailer, respect him. Or rather, as a retail worker, respect him. I just watched Vinny Vinesauce's VOD of him watching it earlier today. Oh, did he, like, put out, like, a VOD of him watching it today? I didn't know that he hadn't watched it. Seems like something he would have gotten to by now. Although I know he's not really a Sonic guy, so. But yeah. Yeah, hopefully everyone is having a nice holiday here tonight. No, I mean Rhapsody. Wait, really? No kidding. Hold on. Vine Sauce, Rhapsody, Street Kids. Holy fucking shit, yes! Yeah! Woo! Okay, cool. Absolutely, I'm adding that to my watch later. Wow. I love this. I never knew I needed this. Yeah, ew, nostalgia critic. But yay! Vinny. Dude, that's awesome. Again, I'm surprised that it took him this long to get to it.
Hello, Mario.
What's up, Booker of the Year? Ritsu, hello, welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Before we get into AEW, and I promise, no more bullshitting, no more goddamn cookies, no more, Papa Louie, no more cock-a-doodle-doo, motherfucker. We're actually gonna get into AEW Fight Forever tonight, but before we do that, I need to just fucking do a brain blast with all of you, alright? I need to do a brain blast with all of you, and before I do that, I'm just going to, which by the way, has more videos in the series. Do we need to like do a fucking watch along of this on stream? Rim covered it too in the latest Best of the Worst. Oh, Red Letter Media in the latest Best of the Worst. No, not this one. Not this stream. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom, but we have to. We have to actually go into the belly of the
Where
beast.
the heck's the Cheetos, my dude?
And goddamn play the video game. But first, Raw rolls on after this. I need to get like, god damn it! I need to get like primed and ready,
like real
right?
Jerks to Sega
I need to get primed and ready for me to like, cause I'm all over you guys.
All who play it, and it shows just how much juice the Game Gear still has in it. With a game like Sonic Blast, we here at Flights of Fantasy believe the Game Gear will last for
actually
a
no,
another
tonight.
decade.
Actually, yeah,
Is it
tonight would be
realistic?
Dynamite, wouldn't
Maybe,
it?
maybe not. But
Wouldn't
it's
it,
more
Bri?
realistic than that old clunker, the Game Boy, lasting just as long. The best feature of Sonic Blast is the graphics. The dithering is
It is
even
Wednesday,
worse
my
here
dudes.
than it was in Toy Story.
I will be watching
But the
Dynamite
fact there are
probably
graphics
after
like
we're
this
done.
on the Game Gear
On either
is
TNT or
incredibly
TBS.
impressive,
It would be on TBS.
especially in the game's bonus stages, which are sure to mesmerize gamers everywhere.
I have a
We say that
goddamn
the Game Boy should be
just
jealous of Sega.
incredible.
We don't know if Sonic Blast used Silicon Graphics
You know what
computers
that
to bring its
means.
visuals to life.
It's time for a
Everyone
GirafaStev
knows
stream.
the incorporation of SGI computers
It's hump
was
day.
key to making Nintendo's Donkey Kong Country
It is
into
hump
the
day,
game it
yes.
is today.
But it's also
If the same
Christmas
can be
Eve.
said for Sonic Blast, we may have a legendary title on our hands. And if you thought the graphics on Game Gear were good, wait until you see what they're like on the Genesis. Here's a look at the opening to Sonic's new adventure.
I'm like geeing myself up to fucking give you guys my autism here. Because, alright, hold on. The ad is almost done. Damn it.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hi, welcome back to Raw. So, you guys know TEW, right? You guys know Total Extreme Wrestling. Well, my autism for that began like 7 months ago, and it has not stopped. I have bad news and good news. The bad news is that in my TEW save, AJ Styles has been injured. He got a torn rotator cuff, and he will not be back until November of 2005. Right now in my game, it is March of 2005. So I will be without my biggest young prospect for 9 months. You know? That right there sucks ass. However, it happened at a oddly decent time. It happened at an oddly decent time. No, he, the only thing that he'll be styling on is the fucking hospital bed and some rehab. Even worse, he will have ring rust, and his development is now completely and utterly halted. I know! Like he's fucking good right now. But I'm gonna need to like rehab him, you know? I'm gonna need to like reintroduce him to the ring. No, the good thing about Styles is that he's already like pretty okay, right? But yeah, his fucking development is halted. But the upside is that I'm gonna get Vinny's face. The big AJ comeback show is going to be incredible, at least. Dude, that heel turn is going to be awesome. But the good news is that it happened at a time where a lot of WWE contracts are expiring, which means I'm about to sign Christian Cage, Matt freaking Hardy, and hopefully my biggest signing yet, Rey goddamn Mysterio. It's Christian. But yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of put on this match while I fucking, just like tiz them out to you, okay? This barbed wire steel cage. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing everything in my power to sign Rey Mysterio Jr. Right? And I already know how he's gonna come in. Because in April of 2005, we are going to throw the fucking book at him. In April 2005, alright? Follow along. It's like, I'm Rey Mysterio right now, right? Mike Tenay, you and I know each other. Oh, shit, hold on. Mike Tenay, you and I have known each other for a long time, right? Well, yeah, Rey Mysterio, what's your point? And you know that I'm one of the greatest luchadors of all time. Or at least, like, greatest luchadors that you've ever seen ever since you started, you know, commentating in this business, right? Mike Tenay's like, well, yeah, of course. Of course I know that. You've had, you know, dozens, if not hundreds, of incredible matches in my time. And Rey says, yeah, well, not everyone seems to know that. You see, I've been in promotions all across this planet. In America, Mexico, and Japan, you name it. And not everyone seems to know that. Not everyone seems to recognize, you know, my accomplishments and my style and the fact that I'm a trailblazer in this business. They look at me and they underestimate me. They don't expect anything from me. And yet when I go in there and I achieve more than what they could ever hope to achieve, suddenly I'm expected to be humble about that. Just because, I'm on the smaller end of the spectrum. Just because I've always been the quote-unquote underdog or the third man in a group or what have you. I should be quiet. I should be grateful. I should be humble. Well, I'm here to tell you this right now, Mike. I'm done being humble. Fuck being humble. I'm goddamn Rey Mysterio. I am the best luchador on this planet. I'm the most prolific luchador since El Santo. I am an innovator. I am a trailblazer. Every single person in the TNA locker room, while they may be great, they're working off of my blueprint. I am the blueprint of this whole company, of all of wrestling, to be exact. And I'm here in TNA for one reason and one reason only, and that is to collect my dues on that. To get my flowers. I'm done sitting by and waiting for them, Mike. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to take them. And I will not stop until I am the king of TNA. I've gotten everything that I have. Not because I was handed it, but because I earned it. And I will continue to earn it. Because my name is Rey Mysterio. And I will not stop until I am the king of the X Division. That's roughly how the promo would go. Need to, like, show it. Here it is. Here's, like, the adult version of it, right? We'd probably change it. Dude, I love TEW talking to people about TEW. Dude, TEW is like an infection, right? I discovered it back in April or May, and I've just been absolutely unable to put it down. You know? I've been unable to put it down. It has infected my brain. My brain chemistry is forever altered by the idea of Ron Killings holding the NWA World title for 6 months and Rey Mysterio defeating Jushin Thunder Liger at Slammiversary 2005, 8.5 years after their last encounter at Starrcade 1996. Because, like, that would be, like, one of Rey's first big matches in TNA. And that would be at Slammiversary, which I have, you know, christened as, like, TNA's biggest show of the year. It's always made more sense to me than Bound for Glory. Because, like, Slammiversary has more regality to it, you know? So yeah, Slammiversary is, you know, the new Bound for Glory. And on that card is going to be, you know, a rematch that's nearly 10 years in the making. It's Rey Mysterio versus Jushin Thunder Liger. And I'm going to have Rey win. Because the whole crux of it, right, like the whole crux of that match is literally going to be like Rey's going to put over, you know, Liger's accomplishments, right? He'll like put over like Liger's accomplishments, you know, like the stuff that he did also in WCW, the fact that he's, you know, a more than 10-time, you know, a junior heavyweight champion in New Japan, so on and so forth. But he's going to say that for like all of his achievements, for like all the respect that he gets, Rey thinks that, you know, all of it has kind of let, you know, Liger get a big head. Makes him feel like that he can just look down on people who are, you know, younger than him, maybe less skilled than him. Because right after beating Rey Mysterio at Starrcade, do you know what Liger did? He completely forgot about him. He went on to face Ultimo Dragon for the J Crown and the Cruiserweight Championship on Nitro. To that end, Rey Mysterio was simply a stepping stone. And Rey's going to be like, I am not a stepping stone. I am Rey Mysterio. Again, I'm a trailblazer just as much as you are. And after nearly 10 years, I will make you address me as such. You know? And like that would be, you know, just kind of, you know, the crux of it. Rey wants the same kind of respect that Liger has, you know, give it to his contemporaries. Because Rey doesn't feel like that he's been given that. And he wants to earn it. So they will face off at Slammiversary. Rey will win. And then, you know, like they'll have the post-match handshake and all that stuff. There'll be a bit of a passing of the torch moment, I suppose. And then Liger can fuck off back to Japan if he wants to. Or maybe I'll keep him on for, you know, a couple of, you know, mini feuds. Because he's because he's so fucking good that he really could, just, be someone that could pass down knowledge if that's what he wants to do. But yeah, that would be kind of, how I would book Rey Mysterio. I think he'd be pretty fun to book even after. Oh, what, Liger? Because I'm saving Liger for, like, special occasions. Especially since he, because in the game right now, Liger prioritizes New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, right? In terms of the promotions that he prioritizes, TNA is dead last. So, like, if I'm going to use him, I need to be smart about it, And I think using him as a special attraction, this, like, big mythological Japanese star, right? Someone who has very rarely been seen, like, on US soil, I think is a really good use of him, I might have him yeah, like he's some sort of reverse kaiju, Maybe I can have him you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna have him also feud with, like, the Don Callis family, too. Him being Liger. Maybe have him beat, Skipper or Kid Cash and put him over. Now, hypothetically, Keiji Muto and the Great Muta in TNA? Dude, that'd be awesome. I don't know. Whenever I think of the Great Muta, I think of how he was, like, announced at, like, Spring Stampede 95 or 96, where the guy, like he said his, like, he said Muta as if, like, he was, like he was a cow. Like, the Great Muta! I don't know. To me, that's fun. He's a cow. He's like, the Great Muta! I don't know. To me, that's funny. And I like cows. Cows are underrated. And so is the Great Muta. I'm gonna put them both together, and you have magic. You know what? No, the Great Muta should have been like Big Josh, and he comes out, instead of bears, he comes out, like, with a fucking cattle ranch. Now that would be money, brother. That would be some fucking money. Anyways, we're almost an hour in. I'm not gonna make the goddamn thing a self-fulfilling prophecy. We are actually going to start playing this game now. Dude, Muta riding on a cow to the ring like Hanger on a horse. Dude, that would be so fucking sick. Dude, it would be even sicker if he, like, painted the cow, like, with his mist, right? Or, like, with paint that's the color of his mist, right? Like it's some sort of, like, war horse, or in this case, war steed, or war steer, really. War steer. I like that. Anyways, fuck being humble. I'm gonna book Rey Mysterio not as this fucking underdog, but as a goddamn, confident babyface. We totally believe you, Stev. Affectionate. Joking. Hi there, Soul. Welcome to tonight's Lomboy Club meeting. But no, we're fucking done with this underdog stuff. We're gonna book him as a super confident babyface who will still, accept praise from the fans and still respect his opponent. But what he demands is the same amount of respect back. No more forgiving vet nonsense. No more of that. He can still be respectful, and he can still, appreciate the fans' support. But he is a fucking icon. He is a modern icon, and he will be and he will be presented as such. No more of this goddamn underdog bullshit. You are Rey Mysterio Jr. Go out there and prove it. Remember who you fucking are. Chat, should I Chat, should I give him the X Division Championship like within 3 months? I'm feeling like he needs to be belted within 6 months. I feel like he needs to take that crown like within a year. I'm over here moving the goalpost. Within 6 months, I think he needs to hold the X title. It's another WWE guy coming into TNA and immediately winning the belt. Also, it's funny you're doing AEW Fight for Every Night when I plan on running an AEW save. Dude, that's awesome. AJ being out does help with that, yes. On the other hand, it's another WWE guy coming into TNA and immediately winning the belt. I feel like with the right presentation, Ray would be fully embraced by the TNA faithful, right? It cannot be a reprise of his WWE character because I feel like that's going to be lame, right? But if he's like a confident, capable babyface, right? Who fucking stands on business, but also, has enough respect for the business to respect his, friends, foes, and everyone in between, then he'll get over, Yeah, like fucking Ray's a work rate guy. It's not like we're bringing in the Nasty Boys in 2010, right? It's goddamn Rey Mysterio. Prime Rey Mysterio. Like you look at him, he screams X Division. That being said, when he does lose the X Division title, he needs to lose it to a TNA homegrown guy, right? God, I fucking hate the dude. Who doesn't hate the Nasty Boys? You gotta, Richie, you gotta stay nasty, man. You gotta stay nasty. Much like how nasty I'm being for not playing the goddamn game already. Absolutely not. He could 100% lose it to Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels is a good shout, because you have one of the biggest workhorses, not just in the X Division but all of TNA, losing the title to arguably one of the grandfathers of the X Division, right? Either him or Jerry Lynn, right? But in my save, Christopher Daniels hasn't won the title yet. But dude, 2005, Rey Mysterio and Daniels. God fucking damn it. Chills. Ah! Dude, absolute fucking chills. The fucking 619 versus the BME. That right there writes itself. That's money. Dude, that is money. Consider losing it in a random TV episode to someone from NXT. Ah, yes, I didn't consider that. Quick, we gotta belt up Trick Williams right now. But sir, we've never heard of Trick Williams before. It's a 2005. Go find him now. That dude, that's ball. The 619 versus the BME, that's ball right there. That's ball. Now, what would be even more ball is if instead of a Christopher Daniels, it was Curry Man. Mask versus mask. It's gotta be Curry Man. Not again. No. If it was no, it's gotta be mask versus title, right? He's hot. Dude, he's hot. He's spicy. Yes. Now that's bull. Anyways. He's hot, he's spicy, he tastes great, and he's gonna kick Rey Mysterio's ass. Dude, now that's ball. Anyways, we should probably start playing, right? We should probably start playing for the umpteenth time. I will say, though, actually no, I'll save that for when we're done, because I have a special thing that I would like to do tonight with goddamn, no! 4 minutes! Ah! Woo! Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Unfortunately, Curryman is not in tonight's game, brother. Why the fuck not? Well, it's because AEW hates. AEW hates game sales, as we all know. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. When, like, me and Ritsu were talking about the hypothetical booking of Rey Mysterio and TNA, I, like, hyped myself up, right? Like, in that moment, I was like, yes, we need to do this. I need to do everything in my power to get this guy in TNA. Even if he's, like, grossly overpaid compared to everybody else, Rey Mysterio is gonna move so much goddamn merch that his contract will pay for itself. You know? He's gonna fucking, like, sell so many masks and shirts and stuff that by the time his contract is up, that friggin' thing is gonna pay for itself. Minigame, how many people on the title image are gone from AEW? Well, we have Jeff Hardy, Rusev, let's see, Malachi Black, and kind of Andrade, although he recently got his contract status cleared, so I don't really think that that's the case anymore, brother. What's new in this update? What? Dude, what are you talking about? I already downloaded that stuff. Anyways, brother, we have to do a little something here, right? Anyway, can we be a team? Oh no, I can only do one guy. Okay, whatever. Anyways, hold on just a second. Let's figure out which Adam we want to play as, chat. We got Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Adam Page, Adam A. El Idolo, Adam J, Adam E. Bowens, Adam Edwards, Adam Cage, and Adam Dawn.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
While you all think about that, we're gonna run an ad. Alright. Also, thank you for the
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Thank you for the 3-stream streak.
But Nintendo wanted the game to be easy, so it provide constant, uninterrupted fun.
Zach 1, not
Earthbound
Zach
has
2.
so many comic elements to it that Nintendo doesn't want you to give up on the game and never see those funny scenes. Earthbound is the first RPG to be set in modern times. You save your progress by calling your dad over the telephone and refill your energy by eating pizza. Speaking of pizza, you can play the game with your left hand and eat pizza in the other, since the game can be controlled with the L button, which lets you talk and check, otherwise known as search, and the control pad to move. Prepare
the unfortunate thing about
places,
Ray, right,
a clubhouse, arcade,
is that he's one of those guys
theater,
that's like
Loch Ness Lake,
really
dinosaur
hard to
museum,
book as a
hospital,
heel. You know?
drugstore, Stonehenge, a police station, library, a park, city hall, preschool, a bakery, laboratory, tents, caves, inns, a desert,
Particularly
resort,
because he's not very
grocery
good at
store,
it.
snake shop, and Saturn Valley. Watch out for Master Belch. You may have smelled him before. Bottom line, the battles and the HP elements seem out of place, but the psychic experience points fit the Earthbound mold well. The game is easy, but you should consider buying it just because it's really innovative. Earthbound is the first RPG set in modern times. The graphics are impressive artistically, but not technically. The humor makes the game interesting.
Patch, you fucking put the idea of Christopher Daniels winning the match in my head. I'm booking that shit. Either that or he could, like, lose it to Styles on Styles' like first match back.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. We could either do Daniels, or we could have Ray lose it to Styles on his first, like, televised match back. Right? I don't remember. Is Christopher Daniels in this game or not? Neither Daniels or Curryman is in this game because AEW doesn't like game sales. However, who is in this game is the person we're playing as, and that is none other than the best Blue Sky follow of all time, Abaddon. Your soul sucks, chat. We're gonna do easy because I would like to... Hold on. It's just visual difference and does not affect game stats. I need to see if Abaddon wears the face paint in public, chat. Non-vegetarian, video subtitles, play hints. I can do that. I don't even remember Abaddon's, like, moveset, chat. This is gonna be a little crazy, I feel like. As you earn more skill points. I don't really care about skill points, though. I just kind of want to play. I just kind of want to play this shit. Alright, let's do it. Alright, is it going to show me the goddamn video? I do not want to get claimed, so we're not doing that. Alright, we need to see if she's gonna... No way. Yes! Yes! Yes, dude! Dude, not only does she, like, wear her face paint, but she wears her gear? That's awesome.
Hello, this is Tony Khan. Hope you're well. I'm reaching out on behalf of All Elite Wrestling. We want to make you an offer. Talk to you soon.
I better find a quiet corner and call him back ASAP. Dude, that's insane. Okay, never mind. I'm pretty sure this game's good. Chickens! It's been a while since I've seen you. You're coming in here with the Long Boys, Girls, NBs, and AGs. Hello, welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club Christmas meeting. Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. For those of you who are unaware, my name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club. I'm the very large enjoyer of gaming, wrestling, your soul, which sucks, and my stinky cats and dog. Tonight, we are finally getting around to our revisit of All Elite Wrestling Fight Forever. We are playing as the Living Dead girl, who is no longer in AEW, but she still has a really good Blue Sky. Especially if you're, you know, looking for some new material. Abaddon. And they seem very, very pleasant in real life. So we're gonna give her, or
Hello, Mario.
them, her flowers right here. The Rob Zombie song. Pretty close to it, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, chickens, it's been a while. How are you doing, my friend? Did you have fun with, what you were streaming? What were you streaming, in fact? And by the way, can I please get a shout out for chickens? Here, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it myself. I was playing Dying Light. Oh, I've been wanting to play that for years now, actually. I mean, I know now it has, like, a sequel. I'm pretty sure it has multiple sequels now, right? Yeah, hopefully you had fun with that. If you got a raid and run, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, tonight we are playing AEW Fight Forever. If you're unfamiliar with me, I do a lot of wrestling stuff. In particular, you know, like the SmackDown vs. Raw games, this game. We're probably gonna do the TNA game at some point next year too. I also do a lot of role-playing games, strategy games, and world building as well. Because next year we're going to launch the Giraverse, which is basically a conglomeration of all of the goddamn characters that we've created on stream over the years. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really, really cool. It's gonna be really ambitious. So if that sounds really fun to you, why not drop a follow? I really appreciate it. Anyways, hello, Tony. It's Abaddon. Sorry I missed your call. Oh, no problem. You're a busy girl. You doing all right? For sure. I listened to your voicemail. Yeah, I love to be a part of Double or Nothing. Ah, that's great. So we have this women's four-way match, and we think you'd be a perfect participant. Grumbling, which Tony Khan can't tell whether it's from Abaddon or a bad connection, but he assumes it's confirmation. What? Happy to hear that. Should be a great match. Oh, and we want to introduce you at a press conference. We'll see. Dude, I literally thought that the dialogue broke for a second. That was crazy. Huh, All Elite Wrestling. This could be huge for me. Dude, that's crazy. What?
The goal was to put 10,000 people.
Dude, that's so funny. What? Of course, back here in full gear. Are we just gonna be in full gear for the majority of this? We are here to do nothing less than change the world. To change the world. My final message. At Double or Nothing, All Elite Wrestling will show what we can do better than anyone else. Now, I'd like to introduce a participant to our women's Fatal 4-Way match, Abaddon. Thank you, Matt. I'm happy to be part of this momentous occasion in the history of not just AEW, but all of pro wrestling. So this is AEW's first pay-per-view ever in this campaign. That is correct. Let's out a frightening streak! Dude, are we gonna be, like, in character? That's awesome.
Let's head over to the Double or Nothing arena.
Let's head over to the Double or Nothing ass arena. This is AEW's...
You're watching All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing live from Las Vegas.
Let's go to the ring for a highly anticipated match featuring 4 of the most talented women in all of pro wrestling.
Oh shit, the women's revolution. Let's go. All right, the odds are going to be really stacked against me, I feel like, here.
This is a 4-way match set for one fall.
This is a crazy lineup here, wow.
Making her way to the ring, Abaddon.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh my god, hello. She even has, like, the blood pooling there.
She is the native beast, Nyla.
Never, ever given enough is Nyla Rose. Oh yeah, that's right. We could do our own fucking pyro. Hey, nothing you could say. Jim Ross's audio is lacking. That it is. All right, we're actually gonna try to win this. We're actually gonna like try and do something here. The unfortunate thing is, the unfortunate thing is I do not remember how to play this game, so we're probably gonna lose this match right here. Okay, so like Abaddon's probably gonna be the most aggressive person in the match, I'd probably say. We got the Cemetery Drive. Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead. Oh, the season mode is Abaddon? Yeah. I figured that would be fun. Plus, the women might have different storylines. Just got home, LOL. Hey, that's fine. Here, let's go ahead and let's do... that. Yeah! Yuka Sakazaki. Speaking of people never given enough. 3. Only 3 punches? So yeah, like instead of the casino battle royal, which you would be doing if you were playing as a man, instead you had this fatal 4-way here, which I assume that you would only get if you're playing as the women. I have to wonder how many people actually like played this game as one of the women, right? Nice. Which is funny to not in a game with mixed gender wrestling. Yeah, it's a little bit funny to not actually like be able to be in the casino battle royal. Especially in a game where, like, from the jump, they marketed it as, like, oh, we have intergender wrestling in here. WWE doesn't have that yet. Yeah, I need to remember how to play this video game. Ah! I did not know how to change targeting. Shit. Chad, I kind of want to do a mulligan there. Is it fine? No. We're gonna see this shit through. So wait, what did she get? Our very first match and we lost. All because I didn't know how to like change targeting. This is bullshit, dude. This is awesome, yes. Abaddon, the new gloat. Wait, women's champion? I lost, though. Huh? Dude, I lost at the pay-per-view and now I'm in title contention? You're now on the road to All Out. First, you want to prepare for Dynamite. You have 4 turns to use. Isolde was kidding. No, really. We have the newest gloat here. Okay, before we actually like progress further in this, it might be good for me to like actually learn how to play this game. So hold on just a second. All right, do we have Abaddon here? No, we have the unfortunate bunny skin exhibition. Here, I'm just gonna select anyone here. We have Kenny and Mox right here. We have a brand new gloat here, chat. You never thought it would happen, but it sure fucking did. Desperation Impulse. V-trigger. Running V-trigger. Middle rope V-trigger. Well, how do I, like, change my target? Like, that's all fine and good, but I need to, like, know how to, like, change my target here. Okay, so I know that's Tony Pizza Guy, right? The middle one. This does not look like Tony Pizza Guy in the middle, right? This here looks like just Tony, a guy. You know? That looks like Tony, a guy. That's not Tony Pizza Guy, that's just a guy named Tony, you know? And he and he might like pizza, but the jury's out on that one. Yes, thank you. I literally was like,
history.
Hold on.
Hello there, this is William Regal.
Hello, William Regal. Chain wrestling.
Here's what you need to know about pro wrestling.
Power game with an opponent. Perform an attack. The defender must guess the attacker's next move. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Change target.
Make sure you don't forget this.
Thank you. Okay. Alright, gotta press on the left stick. Got it. It's so funny seeing a real picture of John Blood. Dude, when I saw, like, John Blood for the first time, I was, like, completely, like, shell-shocked. Like, I was fucking... Dude, as he would say, I was stun-locked, you know? I was fucking stun-locked, because I was not expecting him to look like that, right? Moreover, I was not expecting James to be bigger than Johnny, right? Because, like, I watched the post-show segment from, like, the final DPW show, and it had James and Johnny coming out to, you know, get their flowers from the wrestlers and the crowd, right? And I don't know if it's because of the layers, you know, like if James just had more layers on, but James was, like, larger than Johnny was. And that's not, like, to say, oh, well, like, oh, James is a fat piece of shit. I don't know, you know? But, like, when I looked at him, when I looked at those two, I always expected James to be, like, the leaner guy at the two, right? I always expected, you know, Johnny to be on the heavier side. But you're going full Scott Steiner on James. He's fat! But listen, even if he is, he's also funny. So, we here in the Long Boy Club love the Deadlock Boys. And we hope and pray that fucking DPW comes back someday because it was the shit. So, please, please, please. Alright. Let's see if we're going out getting food with our full gear and makeup. Okay, well... Alright, well this right here is just, like, living the gimmick, you know? Growls. Or is that her stomach? Here's your jumbo slice. DC's trademark pizza style. Questioning grunts. The pies our slices are cut from are about 3 feet in diameter, so we have big ovens. Enjoy. Dude, that's awesome! Isn't this great? We're in Washington, D.C. We're in AEW, and we have pizza. And you have an AEW Women's Championship match at the first ever Dynamite. Contemplative growl! After we eat, let's take a picture to commemorate a fabulous day. Dude, that's awesome.
Like this could use some JR's barbecue sauce.
Okay, well, like, no, Jim Ross. A cheese pizza does not need barbecue sauce, okay? This game is such a great time capsule for an era of AEW that I completely missed entirely. This game is in a weird, like, fucked up zone where it's like year 1 through year 3, right? No, I'm fond of Fight Forever as well. I feel like Fight Forever gets a little too much hate,
Nothing
right?
like a snapshot to remember a trip.
Or more so, I'm a little bit more just kind of like easy on it because I want to, alright, hold on. We gotta go sightseeing with, like, Christian Cage over here. How does Abaddon react to sightseeing? Nyla Rose taking in a little history on a day off. Gotta say, you and Lincoln don't seem like a cute couple on paper, but I think it works. Me and the AEW Women's title are an even better couple. Whether you or your opponent wins at Dynamite, I get the first title shot. Your competition is tougher than she looks, but I'm sure I'll see you in the ring soon. I bet I'll see you first.
Being
Dude!
able to see the sights is one of the perks of being a pro wrestler.
Dude, why? Dude, what is like this inconsistency with Abaddon? Better or worse than Crush Hour JR, do you think? Well, like, listen, AEW Fight Forever doesn't have the twisty rockets, so in that respect, I would say that this is worse. Would Fight Forever be better or worse if it had a moment where, like, GR was like, and Abaddon has the twisty rockets. Personally, I think that would be awesome. Plus, Achievement hunting is fun, and one of the trophies has Yuka Sakazaki on it, which is beast. But no, like, it's fun, like, looking at this game and just kind of, like, remembering, I don't know, like, the initial couple years of AEW. Because I know a lot of people don't, you know, enjoy looking back on the first couple years. Primarily because, you know, within the first year, we were thralls deep in the pandemic, and there was question over whether or not, like, AEW would even be around after that. But hey, we're still here, you know? We're all still here. I still feel like the cost suite and how it operates was... Yes, it was very outdated by then. That's coming from an eFed perspective. No, I feel like even without the eFed perspective, it's just really, really anemic, and it doesn't play to the strengths of a wrestling game, right?
Check the details at the tutorial menu.
Thank you. Check my ass at the tutorial menu. Alright. Let's go out. We're gonna, dude, how's the meet and greet gonna go? U.S. Capitol building. No, you gotta be a character. They want the character. I'd vote for you for president. Dude, that's awesome. This music sounds like the Over the Hedge video game. Bah! What? Next! I have all your t-shirts. Shah! Dude, Hollow Knight moment, wow.
Promotions are all in a day's work of a pro wrestler.
President of what exactly?
President of Hollow Knight, you saw her. President of the Over the Hedge sound font. Go to Dynamite, let's do it, bud. And this time we're actually gonna win.
Dynamite is on the air, and we are sold out in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, Jim Ross is very sleepy during this.
The start of a revolution in pro wrestling.
And tonight, history will be made when we crown our inaugural AEW Women's World Champion.
No, I think she wanted to become the new president of the Long Boy Club.
Listen, I would happily give up the reins and be a co-president with Abaddon. Mostly because I feel like that she wants to eat my face, you know? I don't want her to say that my soul sucks. I like to think that my soul is very neat, well kept, and boosted with fiber. You know? It's like a well done steak. But you're a giraffe. She's too small to get your face. Dude, have you seen how she crawls around? You know, like, have you seen how she crawls around? She is relentless. She does not sleep. She does not eat. She does not drink. She will get what she wants. No matter how long it takes.
Hello, Mario.
Congrats on the new career change, Stev. Happy holidays. Thank you, Banquo. Yes, I will be starting a new job here soon. Your boy is leaving Walmart here at the start of the new year, and he's very happy about that. Dude, Abaddon and Riho on the first episode of Dynamite? Holy based. Wow. Holy fucking based. For some reason, Jeez. For some reason, the Punch-Out music works much better in Fight Forever than it has in any wrestling game we played, chat. Has Dynamite always been on TBS? It started on TNT and then it moved to TBS like a few years into the run, I think. Like, I think in 2022, it moved to TBS. All right, kneeling down, Spike Rana? Wow. Okay. I see you. Oh, here we go, brother. Oh, dude, a gory bomb? It's kind of like a gory jawbreaker. 1, 2, 3. Squash Riho, brother. I do miss this AEW aesthetic too sometimes. The one where it's kind of like, you know, like the little like magenta fragments. For some reason, I remember it as a 2024 thing. I'm pretty sure it was late 2022, early 2023 when they moved to TBS. What do you miss? Light the fuse, burn the boom. Dynamite. Oh, what? Dude, listen. I miss it too. But it also has Sum 41 as the Dynamite theme, and Sum 41 is awesome. So, I'm willing to forgive it. I'm willing to forgive it for the sums. You wanted War's fucking beast! That final album is fucking beast. I loved it. I really wish I got to see them on their final tour, but alas, I only saw them before the pandemic. In fact, no, like, I saw them right before the pandemic, too, like, in December of 2019. And then 3 months later, the world ended. But I'm glad I got to see, you know, the sums beforehand. I have not seen Blink-182, but, like, Blink is, like, one of those things where it's, like, even if I live until I'm 50, they'll still be around. So, they will be the most elder of elder punks. He's become the first AEW Women's Champion on the first episode of Dynamite. Historic. Dude, that right there would have put eyes on the product. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Super fun live. They were with Dude, Blink and Pierce the Veil sounds fucking awesome. Wow.
You can train all you want, but nothing's more educational than a real match.
Okay, but like, listen.
That's put butts in seats.
Yes, it will put butts in seats. Watch this, dude. We're gonna have like Dynamite at the fucking Egg Dome at the sound of this. You know, like we're gonna have Dynamite at the fucking Egg Dome with this.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos
like
break, my dudes.
JR sounds like he's being held hostage. JR, what do you think of this plain cheese pizza with no toppings? Not even like the traditional, like, you know, barbecue pizza toppings like chicken or peppers or jalapenos. What do you think of this? Well, I think that this could use some JR's barbecue sauce, especially if it's from my ass. Otherwise, I just think that this
It's
piece
break
of pizza
time.
can go to hell.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Boom, boom. No, JR is very sleepy in this. Like, even more sleepy than he normally is in wrestling games. But even in, like, other wrestling games, he sounded more awake.
WCW NWO
you know?
Revenge is here. With 50 real-life wrestlers, awesome animation, and tons of different moves, rolling around in virtual tights has never been so much fun. All this game needs is an option to play as Jesse the Body Ventura. Wouldn't that be cool? Or how about a wrestling game featuring Bill, Hillary, Monica Lewinsky, Ken Starr, Al D'Amato, and Henry Hyde? Now that would be the perfect wrestling game.
Would it really? Charlie, you're being psychologically manipulated. It's been in front of your face the whole time. Just like with 9/11. Dude, if Abaddon comes out here with the belt and starts cutting like a fucking like incomprehensible Abaddon-esque promo, I'm gonna pop so hard. You you have no clue. I am going to shit bricks over here. If on the next Dynamite at the Egg Dome, she like comes out and she's like into the mic over her women's title win. If she like fucking like drowns herself in blood and the title in blood. Like, I don't know. I feel like having her as champion would be a bold choice, you know? The thing about Abaddon is I also kind of feel like that her gimmick was a little too extreme for TV.
Excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. But I was saying that, like, I always felt like, even though I liked Abaddon, I always felt like her gimmick was a bit of a hard sell, right? Like, even a harder sell than a lot of more traditional wrestling spooky gimmicks. Even for, like, AEW TV. Oh, hard sell. Yeah, no, like, I'm saying that, like, because, like, the spooky Living Dead girl stuff where like, she fucking bleeds from the mouth and stuff like that, because, like, that's her mode all the time, right? And I feel like, you know, a character where it's literally just that mode all the time, I don't know how much mileage that has, right? I'm not saying it couldn't have had some legs, but like enough legs to hold the title, I don't know. Which is why we're giving her the title here. Come on, Egg Dome, brother, Egg Dome. No Egg Dome. Come on, man. Said too extreme, I thought you meant that standards and practicers didn't like it. No, I'm saying like, you know, it wouldn't catch on well with the audience, you know? Because obviously, you know, standards and practices allowed it, you know, on the show in the first place. I don't think that was the issue. I just think the issue is that people wouldn't have taken it to it. Or that people wouldn't have taken to it as much as other gimmicks, you know? Because having a champion where it's just this mode all the time, I don't know. Toast of the town. Here's your avocado toast. Dude, on a silver platter? That's awesome. So it's just toast with avocado on it. Either 24/7 modes or tried to expand on it after all. Taker and Kane didn't have their 24/7 modes or tried to expand on it after all. That's like saying that Picasso is just paint. Rather, it's just some paint on paper. Man, I destroy some avocado toast right now with a fried egg on it. Man, is it good with fried egg?
What a millennial!
Animalistic eating noises, dude. That's me in real life. Wow. Avocado toast with fucking Tabasco is probably great. Some sriracha and bagel seasoning. Well, we did have Tabasco there.
Important parts of Road to Elite.
Matches and workouts will be converted into AEW cash. Okay. Wait, dining? Huh? Hold on. We gotta go back now. Toast to town again. Here's your avocado toast. Dude, I know. So wait, we gotta have this again? What's waiting for me? Look at the little hipster girl eating $10 avocado toast. What a snob. Aren't you that guy who buys $500 sneakers with cash?
Hello, Mario.
Mega Husky, hello. Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. I love your profile picture of the lounging Yoshi, by the way. Nicholas, Abaddon, he's broke now. Listen, no. They got the money back. They fucking won the $1 million match in Manchester, and now they have their money back. They're no longer broke. They can now buy, you know, the Reeboks and the Jordans again if that's what they want to do. I'm pretty sure you don't have room to talk. I am so upset that anytime that Abaddon talks, it's literally not just like grunts and noises. Try adding another 0 to the price, and now you can look at the back of these sneaks as I turn to my Palacio Rancho Cucamonga home. So self-awareness isn't on the menu, huh? Okay, cool. Those certainly are worth. No, I know. Like, he literally, like, busted out his thesaurus for that. Dude, it's fucking Abaddon. You need to, like, keep it more simple, okay? You gotta keep it clear, and you gotta keep it fucking concise. Just for that, I'm going to challenge you to a game. AEW Pop Quiz. Oh, great. It's Abaddon. We needed a 4th, so I guess you could play. Today's game is AEW Pop Quiz. Since we helped found the whole damn company, you don't have a chance against us. What? Dude, why is she a bee? Why is she a bee?
But that doesn't mean it's okay to lose.
I do think after the Abaddon run, you should do a run where you lose every match and see what happens. Guys, do you want more AEW Fight Forever stuff? Hold on. Test your knowledge about AEW. The player who correctly answers first will earn more points. The player with the most points after 3 questions wins. What? Who among the following is the youngest? Britt Baker. Ah, I was gonna say Darby. Fuck. Wait, can I pause? Dude, I can pause. I can cheese this shit. That's Bout Machine. Come on. Kenny, you gotta get this one right. You... Dude! What? Kenny! That's your nickname, man! Kenny! You are the best Bout Machine! What? What kind of fool do you take me for? He's the best Bout Machine. You're the best Bout Machine. You're the best Bout Machine. I'm the best Bout Machine. Are there any other best Bout Machines I should know about? Points over to Chuck Taylor. I'm out of here. That's awesome, man. Wow. When CM Punk, what gift did he provide? Ice cream bars, of course. Chuck Taylor mentioned. Fuck you, Chuck Taylor. I'm sorry, that was the final question? Dude, really? Dude, Kenny couldn't even get a single one. Looks like you wasted a turn. Yeah, and we wasted our time with a loser. Get to step in. CM Punk cheesesteaks? Ah, yes. The Philadelphia native, CM Punk. Here. Kenny's just ripping ya. Kenny's gotten sucked into the Jericho mid-card vortex, yeah. We gotta go on the TV talk show, I think. We gotta do some talking, dude. Good morning. We're joined by the first AEW Women's Champion, Abaddon. It's great to have you here. Sako. Being the first AEW Women's Champion is such a historic feat. How does it feel? Open... Great! Make sure to catch Abaddon's first title defense on AEW Dynamite. Oh shit, it's AEW. Dude, he even looks a little bit like RJ City there. We have John Talk Show right here. This feels like the zombie voice in Saints Row 3. CM Punk famously wearing his Eagles gear at Money in the Bank 2011. Well, I mean, he would do it now if the money was right. If the money was good enough, he would absolutely do that shit. Alright.
The following contest is set for one fall.
Oh no, Nyla Rose. No, dude, we have to ride the Abaddon train.
And her opponent, she is the native beast, Nyla Rose.
Big Pyro. Haas versus Haas. On what? Ow! Hey! Alright, we're in the feeling out process here. Come on. The entrance is also outdated, at least the length. CM Punk for the gloat run. Or Cody. I feel like it... Listen. How about this? We'll figure it out here, like, after Abaddon, right? Because we need to make sure that, like, Abaddon can actually, do the things we need her to do, you know? Alright, how do I... Oh! Okay, she was ready to catch me there. So after this first storyline here, I think I'm gonna maybe jack up the difficulty a little bit. Just because I would like a little bit more challenge. Why'd they let a Greenhorn go on television, SMH? How do I do, like, submissions? I was kind of shocked Nyla wasn't the real first women's champ. I'm more shocked that she didn't win it again. Like, she won no more titles after her first AEW women's title win. Which is a real shame because I really like Nyla Rose, you know? We can't have anything nice. The fact that Nyla Rose cannot have, like, another, like, women's title reign is the reason why women can't have nice things anymore. Ever since she, like, lost it to fucking Hikaru Shida, women's rights have just been down the toilet. Have you noticed that? Man, okay. Damn. Women's rights have just been going down the toilet. As a trans femme felt. Yeah, see, I told you. Hold on. Nice. Can I do a submission on them? Or am I just gonna do the leg drop, brother? Nice. Not winning AEW's women's champ would be the Rocky IV ending is what I'm getting from this. Absolutely. You know, without all the brain damage. All right. Wait, true. Oh, hello. Wow. Dude, I cannot get my signature on her. Nice. All right, can I, like, turn her over? Okay, yes, I can. Come on. nice. That was kind of... Actually, no, that wasn't really nice. That kind of felt like a shitty overdrive.
2, 3.
Dude, no way. Abaddon is absolutely crushing it out here. Much like in her Blue Sky posts, she's absolutely crushing it right now. I don't think we ever see Nyla get a major title, maybe not even a real feud on TV again. She had like a mini feud with like Jade Cargill, and she'll show up occasionally, but she's largely like, you know, like a company ambassador. It wasn't easy, but Abaddon was successful in her first title defense. Awesome. But yeah, like largely she's more of a ambassador for the company now. And she also does stuff on Ring of Honor, but you know, Ring of Honor and AEW are like two different tiers. Ring of Honor is NXT. Meanwhile, like AEW is like Raw and SmackDown, you know? Motivation are shown at the top right of the screen. Energy and motivation impact the success of your workouts. Okay. I kind of want to go back to the title screen and see if we can figure out how to do some submissions. Because I feel like that it would be beast as hell if fucking Abaddon just like defeated everyone with a different move every time, right? It would show that she can like, you know, be a versatile player. Submission, submission, submission. Is there anything I can do with submissions?
Hello.
Basics.
Here's
Hello.
what you need to know about pro wrestling.
You need to first step forward with your left foot.
Make sure you don't forget this.
You must then move forward towards the AEW title with your right foot.
Here's what you need to know about pro wrestling.
Dude, how do I fucking get into a hole? How do
Looks
I...
like you...
Moving to ringside, grab a weapon, change target. Dude.
Now's your chance.
The following contest
Okay, well, how about controls?
is an exploding barbed wire death match.
Dude, fucking... Dude, shut up. Shut up. I'm not talking to you. Justin, you do not have the talking stick. Shush. You, Justin, do not have the talking stick.
Hello, Mario.
Hi, Zep. Merry Christmas. Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. We're playing as everyone's favorite non-binary queen. Kenny Omega. No. Fuck it, I guess we're just gonna figure it out on the fly. Fuck it, we're just gonna figure it out, chat. I appreciate everyone being here this evening on Christmas. Hopefully everyone's having a nice holiday. I can say that tonight I'm making my special chili. I'll talk about it here in a second, but first, maybe we should get a workout in. Workout in with Abaddon. More chili! Dude, it's always fucking chili with me. It's fucking every week with this shit, you know? I'm making a double batch of the Sonic the Hedgehog chili, which is awesome, by the way. And I'm making it for my mom's Christmas party tomorrow. Right, we're only doing the work... Right, we're doing the light workout because we have something here. Got a nice base, feet, shoulders width apart. Keep the knees pointing forward, get in the flow of my breathing. Oh yeah, I feel that in my quads. Heart rate is elevated too. GirafaStev. A very nagging part of my brain wants to like do a cooking stream where I make the chili, but that would be like a 4-hour stream, and most of it would just be waiting on the chili, you know. Fang McFickness. I'm pretty sure that's Fang the Hunter's gym name. Austin, Texas. Rich people can pay others to do anything. Except buy me out of my WWE deal. I need a lawyer for that. Working out is the exception. I must do it myself. Poor baby. Your life sounds so very difficult. Need a hug? No way. You couldn't pay me to let you get that close to me. Vile sweat demon. Que asquerosa. Que asquerosa. Aw. Okay, well, you know, we need more vile demon sounds. Well, like, listen. We may be a demon, but I don't know if we're a vile sweat demon. Ion Storm, restaurant in Austin. Here's your Tex-Mex platter. Thanks. So what's the difference between Tex-Mex and traditional Mexican food anyway? Good question. It's mostly the ingredients. Things like yellow cheese, flour, and lettuce are typical of Mexican cuisine. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Wow. Ion Storm in Austin. This platter represents the best collaboration Texas and Mexico has ever produced. Creamy and spicy, and guaranteed to have you guaranteed to have you running for more. Alright, we need to go back to the press conference, brother. No, actually, no. I need... My pride has been shattered. I need to beat the Elite. Penta says, Abaddon, just the player character we're looking for. Today, we're playing Penta Says. Follow Penta's lead with various poses, and maybe you'll get an Intercontinental title shot. Penta. Graham? What? What? Oh, okay, I get it. Hell Demon stuff. I'm surprised that they gave Abaddon so much, like, unique text. Right? I would have figured it would just be copy and pasted into there, you know? Beat the Elite. Beat the Elite. Wow. I popped really hard when they brought that theme back at the UK shows. Trying. I work all week, including today and tomorrow, lol. I'm very sorry about that. Shockingly, my Walmart is not open tomorrow, so I have a Christmas off. And then I had the day after Christmas off, and then I'm going to Chicago for World's End. So that's going to be fun. We're all in unison. Damn it. Oh, hey, okay, well, it seems like it's not that hard. They should do it long term. They should. They should bring back AEW Darkhold long term. Why does this sound like Freddy Fazbear? Chat. I'm not the only one that heard that, right? That fucking music sounded like the goddamn Freddy Fazbear sound font. Am I crazy? Hold on. Abaddon won? What happened? Everyone gets lucky once in a while, I guess. But now we gotta cough up some SK. Whatever. SK stands for stupid kid anyway. We'll win next time, guaranteed. I will just say, the more that I can have just really like insipid Taz and Excalibur commentary to have on in the background while I work, the happier my life will be. Alright? The more insipid Taz and Excalibur commentary I have, the happier and more productive I'll be in my day-to-day life, and that's a fucking stone cold fact. What? Backstage at Dynamite, Austin, Texas. They need to have her put on like her glasses for whenever she's like doing like no nonsense backstage stuff like this. Good night, Stev. Good night, chat. Good night, Patch. Merry Christmas. I've been thinking about my match tonight and who I should team with. The women's division is stacked, but I narrowed it down to a list of finalists. Chat, who am I teaming with? Who is teaming with Abaddon? I think Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa would be beast. Chris. I think that Abaddon and Statlander would be beast. She's the only person I like out of the list. Oh, what? Do you not like Thunder Rosa? I like Thunder Rosa. I don't like Britt Baker, though. Statlander, my fave here, too. I'm gravitating towards Statlander as well. Never been super high on Thunder. But Statlander's honestly, like, really good. Especially ever since winning the women's title. She's, like, really coming to her own, I feel like. And she's fucking earned her place at the top of the company. So, yeah, Chris Statlander. My partner and I will see the champ and her sidekick later tonight. In the ring, everybody can hear you scream. Wait, your partner will see... Wait, you'll see the champ? You're the champ, though, right? Chat, we're the champ, right? Unless they're like the TBS champ.
Is a tag team match set for one fall.
God damn it, okay. Yeah, like, we are the champion, right?
Their way to the ring, Abaddon.
Hey, where's our belt? Where's our belt?
And her tag team partner, Chris Statlander.
Speaking of outdated, this look. Lieutenant Gorilla. No, we need to fucking get out there and do it. This game forgets that all the time. More like it doesn't like acknowledge it.
And her tag team partner, she is the native
Oh
beast.
shit. Dude, honestly, Nyla Rose and Rio as a tag team would be beast. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, like, we fucking won the match. We like, won the match to become the inaugural tag champ. Or, like, to become the inaugural, like, women's champion, right? Why is the game gaslighting me? I don't appreciate the game gaslighting me like this, chat. We cannot... Listen, we cannot fucking change the title until we test out our draw, like, in the Egg Dome, you know? I hear that Johnny Ace and Michael Barton are on the show. No, you gotta get... No, get out of the ring. No! Ow! My neck. Ooh, nice. Oh man, the double down and roll out to the ring spot? That's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, that's crazy, chat.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Mods, can we get a snooze on that, please? Fine, fuck it. I will pin Nyla Rose again. Hey, yo. Ow. So wait. Okay, so I can already see, like, where this is gonna go, chat. Right here. The way that this is going to go, right? Wait, can I, like, dive to the outside? And the way that this is probably gonna go, right? Is that we are probably going to end up, facing our partner here at the pay-per-view. You know what? No, I want Statlander. There you go. Oh, no, but I can only play as Abaddon. Fuck. Ah, the double team. Hell yeah. I've softened her up for you. Go. No. Are you kidding me? Hey, you. No. Ow. No. Chris, you gotta get up, man. To be fair, the Nyla chants are beast. No! Get in the ring! Dude, really? Well, at least I didn't get pinned. So there's that, I guess. At the very least, I didn't get pinned. She picked her partner and called her shot, but Abaddon couldn't beat these two. How embarrassing! Well, you know what? I just think that Abaddon needs to go back to the WWE.
You'll get the best workout when your motivation is high.
The higher motivation, the more momentum you will begin your next match with. How embarrassing. I think that Abaddon is a real piece of shit.
Use an item before an important match.
Okay, fine, I will. I'm gonna go ahead. MJF, ew. I like MJF. Why is he gross? No, I'd imagine that my next match is probably going to be something like, I don't know, goddamn motherfucking Jade Cargill? You think that soccer mom workout is going to help elevate your game? Pathetic. Pathetic is stick your nose in my business because you have nothing better to do. It's called scouting the competition, but you aren't much competition. AEW has a new show called Dark. How about I humiliate you there? If it'll stop you stalking me on my off days, then sure, I'm down. At AEW Dark, I'll be happy to turn your lights out. Then it's a date. See you on Dark, a new show called Dark. Ha ha.
Show us your true strength on Dark.
Dude, you think that is a fucking blast from the past? Wait until you see what else is coming. Crocodile Hungry. Restaurant in Jacksonville, Florida. Here you go. Some tasty fried alligator tail. Anything fried is good. Tails, candy bars, the French. Huh? Make sure you try the sauce. Hold on. Hold on, does Abaddon eat the French? Dude, that's crazy. AEW Dark mocks the fuck out of WWE Evolved. It's not even funny. Dude, I mean, that's like the least surprising thing of all time. Wow, it's a real-life pro wrestler. I'm such a lucky guy. Adam Cole, look what the alligator dragged in. What brings you here?
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
I couldn't miss All Out. Not even for my $1,000 Jaguar CD set. I saw you here and had to say hi and see if you like a picture with Adam Cole, baby. I can't tell if you're a mark for yourself or a mark for Abaddon, but either way, okay, fine. I'll snooze it and then we'll go ahead and... Oh boy, Rampage? Holy shit, bro. Alright, we're gonna run the ad now, chat.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my
Raw
dudes?
rolls on after this.
Now for sports games.
My god, we've seen this
WWF
already.
No Mercy is the latest title from Aki Corporation.
All
All
back
of
in a
which are
second, Chad.
inferior to Acclaim's WWF Warzone and Attitude titles. While the roster of this game is certainly impressive,
The fact is that the wrestling is slow, and setting up for the fancier moves is next to impossible. We were pulling our hair out, trying to do the people's elbow. Ah! Come on, it's just an elbow drop. Almost every wrestler in the game has some kind of elbow drop, but they just had to make it super complicated for The Rock. That's absurd, folks. The sound quality in this game is also terrible, with many of the iconic themes being crushed down to fit on the Nintendo 64, and the entrances have been reduced to 10 seconds of posing on the ramp, a real downgrade from what even WCW Revenge offered. One thing Aki does better than Acclaim, however, is customization. You can change almost everything about every wrestler in the game. We brought back the skinny white turd from our review of WWF Attitude and gave him a great entrance. Here's what our game guy, Tom Allen, cooked up for us.
Om nom nom, oh excuse me, we're back my dudes.
And welcome back to Raw. Hello! Alright, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our goddamn dark match here. Listen, dude, if we're gonna, like, get eyes on Dark, then the women's champion needs to be on there.
Is set for one fall.
This match would probably be Beast.
Making her way to the ring, Abaddon.
Actually, honestly, I don't even know if it would, if I'm being honest with you. But in my head, it would be.
Jade Cargill.
Oh, Jade. How is Jade doing right now, chat? The what? Never heard of a women's champion before. Ow! Okay, well, how about a non-binary champion? Because that's really what Abaddon is. So, dude, no fucking way. Dude, what if I just squash goddamn Jade right here? I'm gonna make you want to go to the Fed, you greenhorn. I'm gonna send you over to the fucking Fed, you greenhorn. Dude, AEW Rampage was where the real heat was. Now that's heat, dude. Hey! Dude. No! I'm not gonna let you get over, you fucking greenhorn. Die! Also, man, I wish Evil Uno and John Silver were in this game. John Silver is in this game.
2, 3.
Evil Uno is not, though. John Silver and Brody Lee are. Yeah, John Silver's in this game. He's like the only member of the Dark Order to be in this game. Holy fuck, it's a guy named Tony. That's still insane. I refuse to accept that is Tony Pizza Guy. He's putting on a heck of a main event tonight. If that's Dark is can't miss programming. He is still easily the most over of them at this point. Which is crazy because, like, the Dark Order have done nothing of substance on, like, you know, like AEW TV in years at this point. I need to stop getting my hopes up for, like, them coming back, because anytime that they get, like, even a modicum of TV time, it never really goes anywhere outside of the initial outside of the initial match. Good morning. Our next guest is the reigning All Elite Wrestling Women's Champion, Abaddon. Well, that's not what I said on the last episode of Dynamite, brother. Champ. But you versus 3 other women at All Out, those aren't the best odds. Normally, you'd have I'm sorry. I'm sorry? No. No. No, 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 no. Normally, you'd have a 25% chance at winning a 4-way, but I'm not normal. So let me say, live on TV, that I will win this match. What the fuck? Dude, I would never expect a Steiner Math reference in a goddamn game like this. I will defeat Chris Statlander. You heard it here first. We have to go to break, but we'll be back with Chris Jericho. Thank you, Abaddon. I never would have expected a goddamn Steiner Math promo in a wrestling game. Holy shit, dude. Dude, Use was on something. Maybe this game is actually peak. Calling your shot, huh? I like it. Gutsy. Regardless of whether people want to see me win or want to see me lose, I want them to tune in. Well, I'll definitely be watching closely. Let's take a pic together before my segment blows up the demographics. Now, what about joining the inner circle? Now listen, Abaddon. Have you ever heard of something called the Jericho Appreciation Society? It's the hottest group in AEW, buddy. No, not the Shayas. Dude, Jericho has like JAS tights in this game.
And you know what that means? AEW All Out is live and sold out here in Jacksonville.
All right, chat, we need to lock in.
Women will compete in a 4-way match. Winner take all for the AEW Women's Championship.
All right, chat. I'm gonna lock in. I'm not looking at chat for a moment, okay? We need to retain this title.
This is a 4-way match set for 1 fall.
At least his, you know what that means, sounds okay. Can I go back to New Japan, please?
To the ring, Abaddon.
Hey, there we go. We have the title and everything.
And purple, Riho.
Oh fuck, we're blowing the pyro budget on Riho. And on Nyla Rose. Ah! New champ! New champ! New champ! New champ! New champ! New champ! Alright. It's time to lock in. Already Chris Statlander gets fucked. Yeah, champ first. This match is gonna be annoying as fuck. I can already tell. Yeah, I gotta stay on Riho, dude. I gotta like find a person and just work them over the whole time. Let me over to her. Hey, you! My longtime rival, Nyla Rose. No! That title's fucking mine. Ritsu, would you be unhappy? Would you be unhappy if I just threw this match in favor of Rhea? Or would you like prefer that? Would that be like your preferred mode? Would that be what you prefer most? Hey, yo. No! What the fuck? I literally thought she was G'ing up for fucking Sister Abby there. That's crazy. Indie kick, wow. Come on, go to the outside, go to the outside. To be fair, if I just lost to Nyla here, I'd be fine with that too. So. Dude, double standing moonsaults? Insane. What? Ow! My legs are fucked. Now one of us has to get up, dude. One! No! Stop! Stop! No! Rio! Okay. Dude. If we would have lost because Rio couldn't stop working me over, I would have been so upset. Like, I would be so unbelievably mad. I would have been so unbelievably mad. It's not even funny. Saturday Night Fever! Hey, thanks. No! No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Ooh! Wow! Dude, we laid her the fuck out. Ref count. Rick! 1, 2, 3. Woo! Wow! What a finish. Dude, a B for 5 minutes in AEW? Yeah, I did it by the skin of Abaddon's probably rotting teeth. 2.5? Even though I didn't pin who I said I was going to do. With that victory, Abaddon secures her place at the head of the AEW Women's Division. Long live the Queen. Fuck yeah, dude. So wait, does the title carry over into the next storyline then? Abaddon's locker room after All Out Women's Championship match. Abaddon, I need your help. I'm not medically clear tonight. Oh boy, dude, did Sammy fucking botch a spot again? I need you to fill in for me in the next match. You're aware I just battled 3 other women for the AEW Women's World Championship, right? And now you want me to wrestle and now you want me to wrestle again? I guess the male wrestler on a pay-per-view? You definitely don't sound well, Matt. I know it's a big ask, but consider this. You can prove to the wrestling world that AEW's women can hold their own against the men. Okay, Matt, I'll do it. For you and for all the women in AEW. Okay, fine. Alright, well, who's my opponent against Matt freaking Hardy?
This bout is set for one fall.
Double booked Abaddon? No kidding.
Making her way to the ring, Abaddon.
Okay, so we actually do integrate some of the, like, intergender stuff into the story mode, then.
And her opponent, Scorpio Sky.
I genuinely forget that this man exists a lot of the time. I'm not even gonna lie to you, kid. Alright, cool. Well, hold on. Hold on, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to, do Wild Pokemon music. No, that was not 2.5. That shit was as clean cut as it gets. Don't you even go down that route, man. But no, I legitimately forget that this man exists sometimes, chat. Am I the only one? Like, that's nothing against Scorpio Sky, I just forget sometimes. We're about to send him down the card, too. So, sorry about that, bud. Get fucked. Go to TNA. I keep thinking of Too Cold Scorpios. He did in fact get a toy release. I forget he's with AEW. Do you think he's in like TNA or something? Dude, she went out there and she fucking squashed my guy, Scorpio Sky. Wow. Road to Aaliyah has many branches. Okay. Like a tree branch. Abaddon, a surprise sub for the injured Matt Hardy, beats Scorpio Sky tonight after a hard-fought fatal four-way, no less. You're damn right. Our non-binary demon queen. He did the job to the women's champ, which honestly, not bad. I mean, like, at least you job to the champ, you know? If anyone's gonna, you know, go out there and squash you, it may as well be the demon champ, right? Title has already changed. Our AEW Women's Championship is only in its infancy, but the title has already changed. No, the fuck it hasn't! No, it hasn't. I've been the champion ever since minute 1, dude. Even freaking JR says so, and he's like five muscle relaxants deep into this show. Watch the fucking product, Tony. Jim Ross was like 5 muscle relaxants into the show by the, you know, by the time that he was like, long live the queen or something. Fucking watch the show, you dingus. Other match. We can do the other match, right? Well, listen, maybe we need to remind Tony. Maybe we need to show the belt on Dark. That's the show he's watching. Alright, we're gonna run it back. TK doesn't watch his own show, SMH.
Making her way to the ring, Abaddon.
Some man with an unwashed ass out there is saying, "Oh, who would?" Okay, so we're actually able to wrestle both the men and the women in this mode. I'm a little upset that we weren't able to, you know, do that like in the men's storyline. I don't think there was a single point where we could in the men's storyline. Here. Persona music. I'm gonna work you over, brother. I am beyond grateful I'm past my anti-AEW phase, God. I won't lie, when I say this, Ritsu, you probably would have annoyed the fuck out of me. Because the thing about AEW is that it revived my love for pro wrestling and took it to heights that... Or took it to heights that it never was at beforehand. I would have fucking hated you. I would have annoyed everyone I know in some way. Because, like, AEW, like, revived my love for this sport, you know? Because of it, I checked out the friggin' indies for the first time, you know? It's how I first, you know, learned about a GCW and also a DPW and stuff like that, you know? It's when I first checked out, Japanese wrestling. By the way, we're gonna watch Wrestle Kingdom 20 in the server next week. Or rather, in a couple weeks. Well, I hate tribalism in wrestling. I completely get not liking WWE right now. I think there's a difference right now between not liking WWE just because, you know, their style of wrestling is not your thing, and not liking them because of, you know, their fingers in real-world pies, you know? Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, I don't like them because, you know, Cody Rhodes sucks. You know, that's whatever. But it's another thing to not like them because, you know, they're in bed with the Trump admin. And they're taking money from Saudi Arabia at the expense of, you know, their long-term fan base and goodwill. I think that is 100% valid, right? Personally, I feel like if you don't have a problem with that, then we need to have a oh, hey, dude, Abaddon Lucha moves? Wow. I feel like if you don't have a problem with that, we need to have a discussion, you know? Dude, they only chant for you when you're on the ropes. I'm sorry, but Scorpio looks like the Skibbity toilet with the face down there. Scorpio Sky looked like Skibbity toilet down there. I'm very sorry. A great way to kick off the road to Full Gear, and a great win for Abaddon. Got me more into wrestling than ever, but now, like, I'm so tired. Dude, 2025 has been just pie in the face after another if you're a WWE fan. Personally, they've just given me no real reason to check the product out. You know, on top of just, you know, their terrible, like, business decisions and cuddling up to the Trump admin and stuff like that. Like, I try to, like, keep that stuff more or less separate, but I gotta bring it up sometimes, too. Growls. Or is that her stomach? Here's your Philly cheesesteak, a Philadelphia staple since the 1930s. Thank you, Philadelphia waitress. Slightly intrigued noise. Owners of a hot dog stand experimented with a new sandwich, which caught on beyond their wildest dreams. The invention of liquid cheese in the 1950s helped too, of course. Enjoy. Animalistic eating noises. To be fair, if I had a cheesesteak that looked like that, absolutely. You know? You can refuse the Philly cheesesteak with its combo of melty cheese and tender beef. Consume only on a cheat day. Be like, I like WWE, and then they'll kick you in the nuts. Exactly. Like, WWE has always made a habit out of, like, you know, pissing on their fans' legs and telling them it's raining. But especially now, it's just really hard to ignore when it, you know, it's just become really obvious and hard to ignore, you know? Right when I think I'm in, they push me back out. Exactly. I would probably be a WWE grifter on Twitter had I not met Ari, Tomble, and Teddy. They've all shown me so much wrestling that I love and adore. One thing I would really like to maybe do, Gym of Honor. I see you're working hard before Dynamite, Abaddon. Yeah, well, I have no choice, Paul. Unless I wake up one morning and I'm suddenly 7'4". We can't all be giants, but you could get a picture with one. The largest athlete in the world. This is still fucked up to me. I forget sometimes that Paul White left WWE. Yeah, you could get a shot with the Big Show, but only if you spot me. But no, one of my big goals, or rather one of the things I want to do in 2026 is check out more wrestling. Like, for instance, we're gonna watch, like, New Japan's, Wrestle Kingdom show here soon. But I would literally just even take, like, recommendations from people in the server or people who watch the stream for, like, just upcoming shows or just even older shows that I should check out, right? Because I'll admit I can be kind of protective of AEW, and, you know, that's something I've been working on. Which is why I would like to expand my palette a little more, so that way I'm a bit more, you know, I don't just know about stuff, but I've actually seen the stuff, you know? I look at my 2025 Match of the Year list, and I think Lil Ritsu would not believe my favorite matches are from AWG, or DDT, or AEW. I mean, my favorite match of last year, either this year, I guess, was Will Ospreay versus Hangman at Double or Nothing. So, you know, take that for what you will. Let's see here. We gotta recharge. Fan meet and greet. Your turn. How much can you bench? Maximum! Cool. Go ahead. Oh wow, I can't believe it's really you. Inhales the excitement like gulps of water, but feeling no satisfaction. I love it. I love that. I love this for her. I love that she can't feel satisfaction, chat. This is music. One match that I cannot recommend enough is Yuki Ueno. Shinya Aoki. Kazuma Sumi versus Makuma Dori, Mao, and Cannon from this year's DDT Wrestle Peter Pan. That's a crazy title. I do like watching some old pay-per-views, just seeing the different time periods. I'm sorry if I butchered any of those names, by the way, Ritsu. I'm normally okay with, like, Japanese names, but, I don't know, tonight I'm fucking gassed. I am gassed tonight. You actually got them pretty spot on. See, I knew that me playing Yakuza would eventually come back around to something useful. Alright, so like, who are we facing now?
This bout is set for one fall.
Okay, so here's what I don't want, right? I don't want the first pay-per-view cycle to be women's wrestling, and then from here on out, the game just gives up, right? I would like for there to be some more women's wrestling in my women's story mode, you know? Whoa, 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 whoa. Goated wrestling theme, honestly. Surprisingly goated wrestling theme. Really, I think that, like, any, like, theme that, like, allows for, like, crowd interaction is, like, automatically goated. Did you also see Mox versus, Ishii back in October? I think so. I love Jungle Jack with the beard. They love the sideburns. I feel like sideburns are good for, like, a primordial version of the character, right? Especially for, like, the Tarzan boy look. But for, like, Jack's current gimmick, where it's kind of like Kraven the Hunter, I think that the beard looks better, right? Because, like, if he had, like, the sideburns, it would look kind of goofy, right? Jungle with the beard, he fucking looks like a baby deer. I want to hold him in my hands. I enjoy, like, the Kraven the Hunter inspiration that he has in his current, take on the Jungle gimmick. Like, he went from Tarzan to Kraven, and that's fucking awesome to me. My roommate especially loves it because he fucking loves Kraven the Hunter, especially Kraven's Last Hunt. So, yeah. Jack Perry became one of his favorite wrestlers after that slight tweak to the gimmick. I want him to design another custom title. Dude, his custom TNT championship was like kind of fucking cool, wasn't it? Speaking of the TNT championship, I'm glad that they brought the custom designs back. Because like Mark Briscoe has, you know, like the camo one now, and that's really good. I enjoy it when wrestlers have custom belts. It's cool. It is! It's a fun gimmick. I'm really upset that they got rid of it for like multiple years. Now it's back, so it's fine. Dude, am I just gonna bury the entire men's roster now?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna bury all of them and I'm gonna make them into skibidi toilet then. The ranking in this game makes no sense, by the way. Why is it grading me for like a lower time if it also grades me for more moves? You know? Like you can't have both, I feel like. You gotta pick one. You know? Because they contradict each other. You need more time to do more moves, but you can't do, you know, a lot of moves if you're trying to, you know, finish the match quickly. Abaddon continues to turn heads in AEW, this time with a big singles win. I wanted to come into a big singles win on my ass. What was that, WWF legend Penta? What the fuck? Okay, time to take a shower. That match wiped me out. Is this who you're talking about, MJF? You think this represents Inner Circle material? Well, like how a lump of coal is a diamond material, but there's some potential here. So I'm Cole? Michael Cole! Don't speak too soon. You may be Cole. That may be the nicest thing you ever said to me, MJF. If you want to take Abaddon on as a pet project, Maxwell, that's on you. Abaddon, you want to join the Inner Circle. Dude, what if I say no? You know what? I don't need a faction. I'm pretty dominant as is. No. That wasn't a question. It was an offer. The biggest opportunity of your life. Meet me in the hotel lobby at 8 a.m. We'll go to Nashville and bring a double espresso. Your life just changed forever. You're well... Dude, that was against my will. What? Cool, I guess. Again, we're just like over here, just like fucking burying the roster now, I guess. Driving down the highway in ring gear. Your driving is like your in-ring work. Reckless. Bro, why give me a choice? I wasn't really expecting much. If wrestling doesn't work out, you could.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
You didn't volunteer to drive once. When we arrive, clean yourself up. You're representing Inner Circle, even if you're not a member. You'll receive instructions at the venue. Don't be late. Yes, sir, Mr. Friedman, sir. Now you're learning. Okay, fine. My main gripe isn't even, you know, that they gave me a choice when there wasn't a choice.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Mine was more so because, like, they're just now we're literally just, like, copy and pasting the men's storylines into here, you know?
Now, here's an
I think that's really
game.
lame.
Myst is a top-selling PC game, now available from Psygnosis on the Sony PlayStation. No other game best
also, we're
represents
approaching
the
3.5 hours.
CDs.
I think after this
Even when
story,
you have the fast transition
we're gonna go
option
ahead
selected
and
from the menu screen, the game performs as
close
well
out
as a
here.
snail. Myst is definitely a classic, though, and we see why. As we show you around the main island, notice the quality of detail in the graphics and the non-uniformity of trees and whatnot. Myst combines a surreal, what we call Gaia theme, and a scientific mysteriousness that both intrigues and perplexes. Oh, let's get back to the infuriating qualities. I almost forgot. We tried. We
I love
really
this review
tried.
too.
But even with a hint book, the game is invincible. There's one key problem
No, it's
area
not. That's
very
coming out
early in
later.
the game, and we never passed it. The problem is in the spaceship, where you must enter a musical sequence to a tuner. The musical sequence is found in a book in the library, and there's even a harpsichord in the spaceship, so you can play the notes, hear them, remember them,
I'm
and
still
enter them
completely
correctly in the
just
tuner.
like
Well, good
awestruck
luck entering them.
by
Even entering
the
one
fuck
note at a
being
time won't
humble
work for us.
Rey
We know
Mysterio
other
shirt.
players who got stuck here too, but they only played the game briefly. This is absolutely ridiculous, because even though you know the solution, you can't execute it. Another gripe.
I
This
feel like
has
he
no
doesn't know the
password feature,
solution,
so
chat.
memory cards are a must. One thing that isn't a must, however, is Myst itself. Sorry guys, but I've had enough of being mystified. And if I have to put up with one more groaning noise from the PlayStation as it very slowly switches screens, I'll freak out.
Oh, you sure sound like it, George. You sure fucking
Om
sound
nom
like
nom.
it.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw or Dynamite or something. Wait, hold on. Does Abaddon have like street clothes I could put on her? Wait, what? Hold on. Dude, that's that's insane. Dude, that's insane. This is fucked up, dude. Wow. Can I like change her appearance? I can like turn her into wood. Abaddon. You can put her in other wrestler shirts. I can't. I can put her in other wrestler if I want. Dude, this is fucked up. Advanced camera. How far in? Wow. Okay. This kind of goes hard. I'm not even gonna lie. This cybernetic look with these contacts kind of goes hard. Hold on. Let's see if I can find one that's a little bit. Oh my God, I can make her fluffy, dude. Why would I do that though? Chad, I kind of want to make her into a machine. How do we feel about like the Abaddon machine look? We can rebuild her. Make her better, faster, and stronger than before. I don't know about that one, chat. I could give her like a disco ball goddamn look. Yeah, this feels like incorrect, right? Got like a galaxy thing going on here. With like a reactive texture. Scales? I can like douse her in like mud. Make her marble. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. This cybernetic look is fucking awesome. I'm not even going to lie. It's actually kind of beast. Let's see here. Wait, fire? I can put her in mud gear. I can just give her, like, normal eyes now? Hold on. Reset the eyes. Let's see. Dude, what the fuck? I feel like that we need to, like, keep the normal eyes here, chat. No. Dude, listen. Judge me all you want. But I think that's sick as fuck. Oh, wait, hold on. Ah, shit. My phone died. Abaddon is all elite. That she is. Right, hold on. I will be right back. I'm gonna play a bonus ad here, so that way I can go and get my shit together. Or maybe not. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just, like, duck out, and we'll come back here in a minute.
Welcome to Namcoville. Namco Museum Volume 5 is, a collection of 5 classic older-than-dirt Namco games from the 70s and 80s. It even comes with a special CD that includes 70s and 80s songs, exhibitions of 70s
Everyone
and
say
80s
thank you to
clothes,
Zach.
and 70s and 80s pixel dust. There we go again. Lies. All lies. There is no CD, folks, but the game does include a kinky, kinda cool gallery, which is fun to explore for a few minutes. You can check out the elevator if you're too much of a lazy bum to climb the stairs. I can relate. I'm so lazy that to avoid walking, I have a special car seat that detaches and rolls into the studio, planting me in front of the desk on our pathetic set. After taping, a trapdoor opens up and I'm thrust into the depths of the basement of this old, disgusting, roach-infested building. Just kidding. Anyway, let's move on. You can also peruse the Opera House and see slideshows of the frame rates from decades past. Plus, hear the old sound effects. The Ghost House is also worth a visit, as you can scare those buttheads out of the window until you're blue in the face. Like the biscuit, I feel like taking a moment, so bear with me for a sec.
Ritsu, send me your match recommendation. Like, fucking DM it to me so I don't forget about it.
Too bad. Watch more TV. 3 games included in this Namco game are Metro Cross, which gets straight E's no matter how you rate it, Dragon Spirit, E's again, and Bar.
I would like to watch it.
E's. Together, these 3
I
games
want to
are
watch
worth half a
more
bucket of
different
spit
wrestling
or
next
any other
year.
bodily fluid.
So that way I
The
can
only
be
2
more
games
well
worth a
versed.
hill of beans are Legend of
More
Valkyrie
fluent in
and
the
Pac-Mania.
language, you could say.
The former is the first game to feature the famed female Icelandic warriors. Heck, it's probably the only game. These girls are no Xenas either. This game has neat graphics for its time. Look at this effect for climbing a mountain. Cool, huh? If you want to see the earliest Zelda-ish game, this is what you need. Pac-Mania is the best of the bunch. 3D Pac-Man on Legoland, or excuse me, the land formerly known as Lego. Hey, remember our Lego website story? Here's a peek at that.
This is generally the most mental review of them all.
We are, of course, kidding once again. The whole collection gets E's, except for a D in challenge. These ratings are by today's standards, so what do you expect?
I expect you to make a fucking lick of sense, brother. Because you have so far made no sense. Not my wrestler. What can I do with them? What are their stats? AEW wrestlers cannot learn new skills. Back against the wall buff. Burst attack buff. Environmental attack buff. 2-for-1 attack buff. Boost momentum gains for a brief duration when you successfully perform a 2-for-1 attack. Sent, thank you. Good thing it went to a long review. Yeah, exactly. Brutality buff. Boost momentum gains for a brief duration when you receive enough damage to trigger blood. Once per match. So I can give her, like... No, I can't. I cannot give, like... wrestlers that are already in the game new skills. I can only do that with, you know, people that I create. Alright, well... Other match. We're on Dark, brother. We gotta get eyes on this product.
The following contest is a
I'm sorry, what?
Set for 1 fall.
Dude, what is this match?
Making their way to the ring, Abaddon.
Yeah, you used the right pronoun. Good for you, bud.
And her tag team partner, Hangman Adam Page.
Honestly, beast. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Their opponents, Malachi Black.
You just have a bunch of spotlights on them.
And his tag team partner, the Exalted One, Mr. Bruce Lee.
No. Too soon, brother. Alright, so like if I... Oh wait, hold on. Fuck you. No, fuck you. So like, if I beat him, does that mean I unlock him? Because in order to actually unlock him... Because I'm pretty sure that in order to actually like unlock Brody Lee in this game, you need to like get the Dark Order storyline, and like all of the storylines that you get, I think, are completely up to chance. Which is pretty bullshit, I won't lie. I don't like that very much. You know what? I may not be... Ah! Ah! No! Wait, do I have, like, the black mist in my eyes? I picked up a, AEW Brody figure recently for, like, $4. I'd imagine that's kind of tough to, you know, get, like, a Brody Lee figure, honestly. Nice. Alright, Hanger, get out of the ring. I'm about to tag you in, dude. Get in there. My guy. Fuck him up, Hangman. No. No. Hanger, please. Hangman, fucking please. No. It was still new in box at Ross. Dude, that's awesome. I would have loved something like that, honestly. Okay. Alright, Hanger, go. I cannot see where I am. I can't see where I am, dude. Okay, I'm just going back. Got it. I also bought the other bald guy from the Dark Order who isn't John Silver, like last week. The other bald man that isn't John Silver. I'm pretty sure that's me. I'm pretty sure I was in the Dark Order, brother. Hey! Maybe you should check your AEW knowledge. I, after all, was in a... Yes. We are all in the Dark Order. For fucking sure, brother, yeah. Fucking for sure, dude. Alright, we're on the outside. Alright, Hanger, I'm getting him set up for you, brother. Dude, massive Abaddon chance. Wow. Come on, Hanger. Get him. Get him. Yes. Yeah. Yes, we are all part of the Dark Order. Brother, you fucking know it. Hey, man, please. I have a lot riding on this match. You better fucking do it, dude. Brody, no, please. I gotta get in there. No. I gotta make sure that my goat gets this, dude. I gotta make sure my goat gets this win. If he doesn't, I have no clue what I'm gonna do with myself. What the? Okay, fine. Get out of the ring, you. Come on. No! Get in the fucking ring! What the fuck? Okay. I literally could not get in the ring there, chat. I literally couldn't do it. Also, I need to turn on music now, I guess. Hold on. Ah, that's why I love... Dude, that's why I love tag team matches. Let's go tag teaming. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. No! Dude, if Hangman didn't get kicked... Dude, if Hangman didn't kick out there, that would have been fucking it. I need to, like, make sure that, like, Malachi is taken care of here. Come on, yes! Dude, does that look like getting in the ring to you, Abaddon? Hey, you know what? I'm starting to think that fucking AEW Dark can go and suck a fatty. I don't really enjoy this part of the show anymore. I'm not really fucking with it. I fucking oppose this heavy, dude. I don't really know what to tell you. I keep thinking that, like, X is run. It is not X. It is something else entirely. There you go. No, please. AEW Dark hater now. Dude, I fucking hate this shit. Dog. I really wish that you could just fuck up the referee in this. There's no ref bumping in it. There are no ref bumps in this game, unfortunately. Oh boy, he's gonna hit it. I need to, like, make sure that this is it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Cool. We did it. That took like 8 minutes. Wow. Hey, at least we got a bunch of moves in, I guess. The women's champ has done it again. Abaddon is catching the attention of the inner circle. Winning tonight, they have the attention of the wrestling world. Hell yeah, dude. You know what? I fuck with this team heavy. I really, really hope that we continue this. I fucking love AEW Dark, Charlie. I love AEW Dark. Man, I took so much in that, though. I took a lot of punishment there. Let's go ahead and let's go out. We're gonna do the press conference now. All alone up here? Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, here's the next question. Abaddon, what do you like to do on your days off? Pensive And the final question. They just skip to the end. Who would you say is your best friend in AEW? That's it from Abaddon. Let's hear it, folks. Cool. That's our AEW Women's Champion, y'all. Dude, this music is crazy. Wow. I'm gonna go dining again. Let's go see what Nashville has in store for us. There's the rub. Restaurant Nash growls, or is that her stomach? Here it is, one big plate of Nashville barbecue. I can't wait. We love pork here in Nashville. We use a rub heavy on paprika and garlic, then cook it over a big pit. Enjoy. Dude, hold on. Let's see. Oh yeah, that deserves animalistic fucking eating noises. Good things come to those who wait. This plate of Nashville barbecue was slow roasted to perfection, covered in a slightly sweet and tangy sauce. Incredible. You're here too, Abaddon? This place is out of this world. Aha! A space joke. But yeah, it is. I had the vegan barbecue sandwich. My belly feels swelled up like an asteroid. And another one. How delightfully on brand. I was just making conversation. Sorry, I didn't mean to alienate you. Oh, you get a boop. Aw. Dude, Abaddon looks so fucking done with that. I do not think, you know what? Abaddon takes your boop and she'll tell you where you can fucking stick it, brother. Right, you know what? Sightseeing again. Let's go and see it. Whoa, hello. Man, Hangman, are you getting a load of this like a green screen over here? It's crazy. I can just feel the history and the passion for the music here. You into country at all, Abaddon? Shot a man in Reno just to watch it die. From Johnny Cash, who resided in Nashville. Still the coldest lyric ever, am I right? So again, Mr. Cash, it seems you have your own ring of fire going on, huh? The inner circle. Questioning grunt. Dude, you can't go back to your grunts after friggin' Hangman question you. Well, if you're interested, I can use a partner on Dark to take on a couple of men in black. But first, let's take a picture. Well, it's a little too late for that, Hanger. We already kind of did that. We already kind of did that, brother. I don't think that's gonna work. We cannot go back in time. I'm sorry.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall.
Dude, what is this tag team here? We have Trent Beretta and Matt Hardy taking on Abaddon and Wardlow. Crazy ass tag team here. Wow.
And her tag team partner,
Everyone is getting blown up. Big Money Matt Hardy. Dude, you fucking know it. And Trent Beretta?
And his tag team partner, Matt Hardy.
Potentially peak. That best friends theme, rah! It's Matt freaking Hardy on the other side of the ring, chat. Wow. Hold on. I got my Xenoblade music right here. Dude, ow! That right there is some heel Trent shit. Wow. I will never not miss the best friends, chat. I don't think they ever got a shot with the titles, did they? I love how you can hear, like, sound being made. What random tag team is this? Dude, this right here is universe mode. That's crazy. But again, I kind of fuck with this heavy. I feel like this team could have been something, right? Maybe?
Hello, Mario.
Dark Raven, how are you? Hardy's a better partner to him. God, I hate Chuck Taylor. GR, we're live. LOL. Fuck you, Chuck Taylor. No, you know what? I fuck with Wardlow and Abaddon. I feel like this could have been something. You know what? That's fine, Matt. You can just go out. You can just go ahead and use your finisher right there. That's all right. No, no, no! Not on me! Not on me! Not on me! No! Shit! Ow! Ah, thank you, Wardlow. Fuck you, Matt. Fuck you and your leg, dude. You know, maybe me and Wardlow will go after the tag titles. Who knows? Anything can happen here in AEW, as they say. I'm still very upset that the refs cannot take bumps. Can anyone tell me where the JR hating Chuck Taylor thing came from? Oh!
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Oh, well, fuck. Hold on. Mods, can we get a snooze on that or no? Nice. Yes, we can. Hold on. Oh! Dude, we're really gonna do more damage to friggin' Matt Hardy's knees?
2, 3.
Dude, this tag team is honestly kind of goated, Wardlow and Abaddon. I mess with this, honestly. So wait, are these like the highest rated matches I've had? Or like the highest rated tag team matches I've had? Google AI says it. Okay, you know what? No. Anytime that you say Google AI told me this, you gotta fucking go back. Alright, you gotta go back to the drawing board. Because Google AI is taking it from somewhere, and that's where you gotta do it. Warlord, the Inner Circle, teams with Abaddon. They earned the victory. But what does this mean? Literally, what does this mean? I'm not on planet Earth right now. Can someone please come and get me? My media comprehension skills are going through the tubes. Could someone come and give me something already? Flying over Mississippi, which is the only place people should be when you talk about Mississippi. I'm betting MJF talked your ear off in the car, right? He had a lot to say, yes. I don't have to sell myself to you. I've got 30 years on top. I want to know about you. Are you a bottom or a top? I know I'm the best to ever do it, and I love proving myself over and over. The Inner Circle is about trust. I chose every member, vetted them. I trust they will go to war with me. Understand? Makes sense. You and I will tag on Dynamite against a really good team. Find out how trustworthy you are, and you'll see my greatness up close. Dude, they're for sure turning on me at this next show, huh? They're for sure turning on me at this next show, and
It's
there's
break
nothing we
time.
can do about it.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this.
Wrestling fans rejoice. WCW NWO Revenge is here. With 50 real-life wrestlers, awesome animation, and tons of different moves, rolling around in virtual tights has never been so much fun. All this game needs is an option to play as Jesse the Body Ventura. Wouldn't that be cool? Or how about a wrestling game featuring Bill, Hillary, Monica Lewinsky, Ken Starr, Al D'Amato, and Henry Hyde? Now that would be the perfect wrestling game.
Jesse Ventura brings a gun to the ring. In his match against Hogan. And finally, that creates the wrestling union that everyone needs. Honestly, a 9-2
Nom nom
record
nom.
with the
Oh,
shit
excuse
we've
me,
been
we're
doing is
back,
pretty
my
okay.
dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Honestly, the 9-2 record is pretty okay. Alright, let's go out. We're gonna go sightseeing. Here. Oh, fuck. CM Punk, what are you doing here? Same as you, Abaddon, about to float peacefully along the Mississippi. Been enjoying your work in AEW, by the way. In fact, I want you to be my opponent when I debut on AEW Rampage. You ready to face the best in the world? Will you take on Punk at Rampage? Haha. Alright, consider it booked. CM Punk vs. Abaddon at Rampage. See you then. Well,
Rampage,
that happened.
CM Punk made his triumphant comeback.
It launched on August 13th, 2021. The challenge and rewards on Rampage are greater than on Dark, so bring your best. Aside from special challenges, you may participate in one supplemental show per week. Rampage, remember that? Brother, I fucking do. And I remember it so much that I am not going. I will not be there. CM Punk is just gonna have to go in there and fucking... Then why do Dark ever? It's a very good question. Why would you? Luis and Anna's restaurant in New Orleans. I just know that joining the inner circle is one of the smartest things I ever did. Okay, you two. Here's a New Orleans finest jambalaya. Great, maybe give me 5 more minutes before the next bowl. You got it, hun. I can't believe you ordered 2 bowls. You've seen how I fly around the ring. I burn a lot of calories. Okay, Sammy the Spanish vacuum. Let's get a pic before you need your stomach pump. AEW Rampage reminds me of WWE Superstars every Thursday night at 8/7 Central, only on WGN America. No, I've seen this hair with him, I think. The chef threw everything but a set of Mardi Gras beads into a pot. Tend it to it dutifully. And this tasty concoction was the wonderful result. You won't be able to put the cup down, brother. I haven't had jambalaya in a while. You got that concoction. You can't put down the cup, brother. AEW Rampage does remind me a lot of WWE Superstars every Thursday night at 8/7 Central, only on WGN America. I will not be there. Fuck you, CM Punk. And Rampage is dead. Yeah, because they don't have Abaddon on it. They got shitty-ass CM Punk on there instead. They got shit-ass CM Punk on there. I'm just gonna go to Dynamite. We'll prepare for your match. Dude, we gotta do another meet and greet. You can meet Abaddon now. Abaddon, will you follow me on Twitter? Snaps like an alligator. Dude, same.
Hello, Mario.
Same. That's fucking what I'm doing if anyone mentions Twitter to me. No. Follow me on Blue Sky instead and maybe I'll follow you back. Your turn. Why did you become a wrestler? Gah! Twitter being outright mentioned is crazy. I know, right? Wow. Oddly, it makes the game dated. Hi there, Glitch. How you doing? Welcome to tonight's Longboy Club meeting. Oddly, it makes the game dated. The mention of Twitter.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall.
This is crazy. This is a crazy ass team right here. Not Jurassic Express, but goddamn this right here. Teaming with Jericho? What the fuck? It makes sense if you were here a few minutes ago.
And her tag team partner is the Devil God, Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And their opponents, Luchasaurus.
He has like the kill switch music.
And his tag team partner, Jungle Boy.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chris, I love TNA Jericho. Well, if you love it so much, why don't you join it? I hear it's the new second biggest promotion in America now, chat. Have you heard that? I've heard that. Not from people that I should be hearing it from, but I do hear it from them. Dude, if fucking Jungle Jack is on the World's End card, you can bet your bottom dollar that I am there singing that shit. You know? I have. Yeah. Dude, you and I have heard that TNA is the second biggest promotion from people. Not people that you should be listening to, but I've heard it from them. Dude, we're just over here working Luchasaurus in the corner. This is nuts. This is some heel-ass shit here. I am going the World's End, yes. I'm very, very excited for it. Wait, does he make, like, roaring noises? That's so sick. Alright, Jericho, go and finish him off, dude. I have a feeling that's what you want to do anyways, so... Wait, really? No! No, you have to do more, brother. Dude, what is the... Dude, what are these sound effects I'm hearing? Ooh! Wow. What a DDT, wow. Bro, you gotta stop taking him to the middle of the ring and just fucking pin him! Pin him! Pay-per-view will still be shown the server, though. It, in fact, will. By the way, for those of you who are here and I've not joined it yet, I have a Discord server. However, it is a revival of a previous Discord server because the old server was nuked earlier in the year, unfortunately, because I fell for a scam, and that scam caused the server to be deleted. So yeah, if you're not in the server, rather if you think you're in the server, you might want to check to see if you still are, because there's a very good chance that you are not. But with that being said, I will not be doing a watch-along in the Discord server for World's End, but my mod, Zachary, will. He will be doing the watch-along. He will be hosting the watch-along as I would have usually done for that evening. And not only that, I'll be live at the show. So yeah, maybe you guys can spot us out. I think that would be really fun to try and do. I think that would be really fun to see if you guys can try and spot us out. We will be making signs, so it won't be like, you know, completely just like, hey, try and like spot us out like a fucking needle in a haystack. We're actually going to be doing things. We actually have a plan to get spotted out. No! Ah, Judas effect. No! Ow! But yeah, if you think you're in the server, you might not be. Come and fucking join us. Will this be your first live AEW show? No. This will be my third or fourth. I've never been to a pay-per-view though. Or rather, I've never been to like, you know, like one of their pay-per-views. I've been to like, you know, WWE pay-per-views. Like me and Zach went to SummerSlam and Fastlane in 2023. And we got lost in Detroit in SummerSlam 2023 season, which was very funny. By funny, I mean very terrifying. It was very, very terrifying. Not very cool at all. No! Fuck you, dude! Just fucking get him with the Judas effect, you friggin' mark. Pin him. Right now.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they haven't been... look for the long neck. Yes, that will be the dead giveaway. That right there is going to be the dead giveaway. But yeah, if you want to watch the show with like-minded wrestling fans, have some fun in the server with us, come and join it. It's a fun little community of games, wrestling, and other hyperfixations. Especially Sonic. Shows, one which had the Blood and Guts match. Oh yeah, that's right. I've actually been to 4 AEW shows. I've been to a couple Dynamites. You and I, Zach, we went to like a Rampage taping in Battle of the Belts, which had Konosuke, like pre-alpha Konosuke, going up against Claudia Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor title. And that was really good. And Blood and Guts was a spectacle live, honestly. What the fuck? Okay. Well, that came out of nowhere. and Maxwell looks like he's about to sob. I love that. The Inner Circle is a fun romp, Chris, but playtime has come to an end. I'm better than you in every way, and I'm starting a new faction representing the true pinnacle of AEW. Orlo is with me, of course. I'm feeling generous, so I'll extend an invitation to Abaddon, too. That son of a bitch! MJF conspired against his mentor, Chris Jericho, to break up the Inner Circle. Was Abaddon with the Pinnacle, too? We're out of time on Dynamite. Dude, am I actually gonna get a choice? Or am I not really gonna get one?
Chris!
Oh, hey, I remember this. I remember that. I can't show it, though, because it will ensure that the stream gets blicked. I love those, like, Planescape Torment hills right down there. That's awesome. Muhammad Hassan enters. Yeah, like, why would I ever go to Dark when I can just go to Rampage and get a bigger payday? Let's go mini-gaming! Who's missing? Indeed. Who is missing? Here. In fact, here is the Discord link for anyone who is not in the server right now. Again, we lost the server several months back due to a scam. If you think you're in it, you might want to check. If you're not, there's the link right there. Who's missing? Abaddon. Yeah, just a player character. Today's game is Who's Missing. This will put your skills of observation to the ultimate test, and you'll fail. Ooh. What?
Looks like a good warm-up.
Okay, cool. What? Dude, who's over here making, like, coffee? With the frothy bits on top. Cards will randomly flip over. Pick who's missing. The player who correctly answers first will earn more points. Bro look like Chad Gable with a wig. Wait, who? Who looked like Chad Gable with a wig? Me? I look like Chad Gable with a wig, I think. Anyways, hold on. Guess who's missing? Dress Express, TJ. It's TJ, yeah. There you go. Cool, I guess. Had their hair down. I'll point them out later. Oh god, Bobby Fish? Wow. Best friends. I'm sorry, you're not there, brother. And the Men of the Year? Dude, that's big fucking Bobby Fish with his bald-ass head now on YouTube. Dude, the Elite are choking right now. Much like how Kenny forgot his own first name. Or rather, they forgot his own nickname. It's Matt... No, it's Matt freaking Hardy. Where's the lie? BF sucks. There are like multiple characters that we saw in this that are not in this game. Dude, they earn no points. Danhausen! Dude, should I play as, like, Danhausen as the gloat pathway? Ritsu, should I play as a Danhausen and make him the gloat? Yes! I think like Danhausen as the gloat would go hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't a rock. What? Geoduck is the world's largest burrowing clam. Its sashimi is a Seattle specialty. It's actually pronounced gooey duck, but of course is not related to the birds. Thank you for spelling out the pronunciation on account of there being no voiceover. I'm sorry? Just doing my job. Enjoy. Why is there no voiceover, though? Okay, well... No. I would not like that, honestly. Dude, this game chooses weird moments to break the fourth wall, I feel like. Hey, Abaddon. I tried a lot of different proteins before, but never one that looked like a troll's toe. But it was pretty tasty. Before I find a gym to turn it into muscle, let's take a picture. Okay, Brian. Brian Cage, wow. I hope he's doing well. Batista, but with lucha moves, I always saw Brian Cage as. That's insanity, though. I think we gotta go and... I think we gotta do the press conference, chat. No way, Abaddon is on the goddamn stage in Seattle. Since MJF left the Inner Circle, he's been blowing up my phone. And so has Jericho, offering me MJF's spot. I haven't taken their calls. I don't like being a pawn in other people's games. At Full Gear, I'll take on MJF and Chris Jericho in a triple threat match. Yeah, dude. Hope you got your tickets to Full Gear Seattle. You need to pick a lane. Pick a lane, Abaddon. You're either completely incomprehensible or you're not. You can't have your cake and eat it too in this instance, okay? You either gotta be incomprehensible or I need to comprehend you.
All Elite Wrestling Full Gear, live from Seattle, Washington.
You're either in gimmick or not. You can't be both here. Dude, it's like she wants to live the gimmick, but she can't live it too much.
But what about the third participant?
I think it's a little weird that you don't know what your match is until, until it's time for it.
This is a three-way match set for one fall.
All right, final match of the night. Let's do it.
Making her way to the ring, Abaddon.
This game has forgotten that we are the women's champion.
And her opponent is the Devil God,
I don't know. I wanted, listen, I wanted a story that was going to allow me
Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
I wanted a story that was going to allow me to, wrestle the women. But I've not wrestled a woman in this game in like 3 hours. Yeah, just like fuck all the women then, I guess. Especially if your name is Nyla Rose, Fuck you in particular. Alright, so I'm gonna job out both of these guys. Is that alright, chat? Can I just, job out both of them and we're all gonna be happy about that? I hope so, because that's what's gonna happen. Hey, you! Ow! Yeah, I'm gonna job out both of these fucking clowns here. Where are the files on your wife, Jericho? I know where she was on Jan 6th. Where are the fucking bodies, Jericho? Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad that we've all accepted that I gotta job them out. I'm sorry. What are you doing, Jericho? You fucking potato-shaped man. Get over here. I'm just gonna, like, spam my signature on them real fast. Head trauma.
1, 2, 3.
No fucking way. I remember what your wife did, Chris. I know where she was on Jan 6. Where were you? Alright, cool. Dude, that was insane. The music didn't even finish a full loop. I beat you for 2 reasons, Chris. First, because you're one of the best ever. So it's a bigger feather in my cap. But also, you told me you trusted every Inner Circle member. Yet, you let that rat MJF in? Why would I be a part of that? MJF, you'll never reach Jericho's level, and you'll never be worth my time. Abaddon just beat the leaders of AEW's 2 most powerful groups. What an impressive end to Full Gear. Thank you for joining us. That was the main event? Oh, brother. Alright, cool. We're on to the next fucking town then, I guess. Over here just squashing the roster. No way! No fucking shot. Dude, Abaddon in the exploding barbed wire death match? Okay, honestly, that's gonna be kind of peak. You are exhausted from so much air travel. To be fair, it's pretty okay. Huh? Morning TV talk show, dude, I didn't pick this. Morning TV talk show in Toronto. We have Chris Jericho from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 right here. We have 2 biggest stars from All Elite Wrestling here. Kenny Omega and Abaddon. Welcome, honored guests. Happy to be here. Feels great to be back in Canada. Now, Kenny, AEW's big Revolution show is weeks away. I remember you had a wild match during 2021's Revolution, right? Yes, I beat Jon Moxley in what I called an exploding barbed wire death match to retain the AEW World Championship. But that's not the whole story, is it, Kenny? Excuse you? You and Mox had a chance to make history. You fizzled out. So I'm gonna one-up you guys by competing in my own exploding barbed wire death match at Revolution. Oh, you think so? And where do you get off making that call? What does it matter? I just made it on live TV. You little punk. You don't go and try to show me up in my home country. Try? I just did. And your ass is so glued to that chair. Not doing a damn, let's cut to commercial. Immediately. Dude, I love how, like, even they mentioned the fact that the goddamn, exploding barbed wire death match was a dud. Alright, well, I guess our big thing next time is to redeem the concept. Cool. You know what? I like that. I like that very much. And I like all of you very much, too. This was a fun way to spend my Christmas Eve. Thank you all very much. We're gonna raid out to somebody here. Let's see. And then next time, hold on. I'm gonna, like, shut off the tribal music here for a second. This is crazy sound font. Let's go ahead here. And raid out. Have a good one, Steph. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to all of you as well. This was very fun. I'm very tired. But I'm not just gonna, you know, end stream without gracing y'all's presence to someone else. Is that words I just said? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm very tired. But I had a very good Christmas. We'll be back after World's End with the final part of this, I would assume, and the final stream of 2025. It's honestly crazy that we're kind of at the end of the year here. I'll be honest, this year has been a little tough. In my personal life, specifically, especially with all of, like, the job stuff and whatnot. And I just haven't been as productive as I would have liked to have been. I didn't have a lot of streams. I only just started recently putting up new shorts. And even then, they're in, like, a different format than what I've been doing, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. I made no new videos this year, which I'm still kicking myself over, but I want to make more next year. My only goal for 2026, as I said on Blue Sky, is to lock the fuck in and just do my shit. You know? I just want to do my shit. I want to do stuff that I'm proud of. And I just want to find my groove again. You know? We had a fun, like, fourth quarter this year, but it was mostly doing stuff that was kind of safe and stuff I knew I was going to have fun with. You know? And while there's nothing wrong with that, I want to be a bit more adventurous next year. Which is partly why I'm doing the Giraverse. Because I want to, you know, practice my storytelling and world building and stuff like that. And actually kind of take the characters that we've made throughout the years and, you know, make them more meaningfully connected. Basically, I want to be a storyteller. You know? And I don't know how it will turn out, but however it turns out, I hope y'all are there for it. On behalf of the Ariona community, you are always loved in our parts, brother. Well, you're always loved in my parts too, brother. Not like those parts, but you know what I mean. Also, the friggin' chat is frozen. Hold on. Well, yeah. I appreciate you and Ari and everybody else in that kind of circle there. But in 2026, I don't just want to, like, you know, survive. I would like to grow, you know? And that's only gonna happen if I continue putting my best foot forward and don't take off the gas, you know? And that's the goal for next year. Lock the fuck in and do the stuff I'm proud of. You know? But
it's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
You know it is. Either way, thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this year. Early next year, we're going to be doing the cookies. The cookies from Cookie Good. But before that, we're going to finish up this game and finish kind of our retrospective playthrough of it. Until then, I'm gonna raid you guys out to, let's see here. Surprisingly, a lot of people there are a few people I know are streaming tonight, shockingly. There's one other person streaming that says they're streaming AEW Fight Forever, and it does not show AEW Fight Forever on their screen. So I'm going to assume it is not actually AEW Fight Forever. You gotta be a menace to be up at 2 a.m. on Christmas night. Genuinely. But I have a series of menaces here. Or menaces here. Fuck it. We're just gonna go and raid out to a fellow wrestle guy. Fucking Santa's probably gone through my house already, and you didn't even realize it, man. That's how stealthy he is. That's how, like, locked into this shit he's become. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and raid out to my friend here, Maxwell. Hold on just a second. If you are subbed, this right here is the raid message. Long Boy Club love. As for subs, this is for non-subs. Again, I appreciate everyone for fucking joining me tonight. Y'all are great. I love you very much. I'll be back here in about 5 days with the final stream of AEW Fight Forever. I'll see you guys then. I've been GirafaStev. I am very tired. See y'all later. Merry Christmas.